Surprise! I'm not going to say anything to anyone. I'm not even going to talk about it. Not going to tell anybody that I'm doing this. I'm just on Twitter tonight, and I was bored, and I was looking at the lives, and the only live I saw that was interesting had David screaming. And so I was like, I'll just go live instead, because I don't want to hear David screaming. But I do want to hear someone talk, so I'll hear my own voice talk tonight. There will be, I didn't tell anybody, so if anybody's wondering if Felice is coming, I have no idea. Didn't invite her. I just want to talk to some MAGA folks. Feels like we haven't had an opportunity to talk to any MAGA folks for a while. Yeah, look, I saw David. Look, David knows his shit. Like, if you put David in a panel, it's goddamn chaos. It is chaos every time. Because no puff tonight. I don't know what you're talking about, but maybe a little bit. But you put David in a panel, and he'll just like, in the middle of everybody's sentences, he'll just like throw out some little one-liner. It has nothing to do, and he's so irritating. He's so good at panels. I mean, he makes the panel chaos, but it's fun. So I'm just looking for MAGA tonight. Young man, what are you doing here? Don't worry about it. I think I had a different one before. I had MAGA. I've got a few of them, but I had like a MAGA where truth is, or where the only truth is lies, something like that. I had a few. Shit, gifts are on. Damn it! Let me make sure I can't turn them off here. I'm going to have to restart. Son of a bitch, thank you. I'll be back in a second. Thanks for reminding me. There we go. Sorry about that. Sorry. I didn't mean to. What was this question? Oh. I'm back. Had to turn off the GIF. Sorry about that. Look, I would actually possibly be willing to talk to David at some point when he calms down. But I really do want to just talk to MAGA tonight. So MAGA, the box is open. There's a spot just for you. We can talk about anything. Currently, I'm engaged in a Twitter discussion with RFK's team where they're trying to convert me to RFK. And I've been asking them for his health. Yeah, I might be a little congested. I've been asking for their health care plan, and they just keep sending me the same clip over and over again, meaning they don't have a health care plan. I'm a little congested. Rug. Oh, it was Rug that said it? So what are you guys up to tonight? Fun fact, Trump's $354 million fine has a 9% daily interest rate. That means every day that Trump doesn't pay, the daily interest goes up by more than $87,000. Jesus. That's tough. Thank you. I came up with that background on my own. I want to be their friends. I want MAGA folks to stop being silly. God, that's a lot of money. That is so much money. I was thinking about that today when I was driving back to my house. Just like how ridiculous it is that there are people that like have that much money and owe that much money. That's insane. Compounding interest, yeah. There's M. Scott right there. That bit of news came from M. Scott. I appreciate being called daddy. At nighttime, maybe we call me daddy. I'm good with that. Trying to recover from the major headache my kids gave me because kid's dad supports Trump. Ew, dude. Ew. Why'd you sleep with someone like that? That's gross, dude. Sorry about that. That's tough. Can you imagine if you just like you had a husband that you loved forever, and then just 2016 he's like, listen, I'm on the Trump train now, and then they just never left the Trump train? How do you handle that? I'm sure, I don't know if any of you guys have family members like that. Ghost piece. You getting excited for some Sunday red gear? No, that Sunday red gear is horrendous. It's like, it looks just like Greg Norman, like Shark brand. Divorce. Carolina Country Girl says divorce. Mag's mom says divorce. That's a lot of divorce. It's an option. I've done it. Salty one, where's your hometown? Yeah, look, everybody's dad, I think, is a little bit of a Trumper. Even the ones that aren't. There's like some Trump in them. I feel like if you're, for all of us YT people, all of our dads are Trumpers, essentially. And the ones that aren't are like, they're like the good ones, but they're not all the way there. What do we got here? What is happening? Is it Tuesday morning? Am I missing work? Yes. Welcome. It's Tuesday morning. It's great to have you here. No, I was bored. And I was trying to find something entertaining on TikTok, and I couldn't find anything. So I just came on to talk to you guys. And hopefully some Trump people who I'm going to convince not to be so silly anymore. Here's the deal. And while we're waiting for Trump people, I will, let's open the box, but only for like if you just have something quick and interesting to say. I'll open the box to quick and interesting or a good joke. We can do that as well. But I want to, my ADHD doesn't let me just sit in a box and talk all night or on a panel. If you've seen me do panels, I'm not great at them. They are dipping it. Is that a right wing thing? Like, I don't live around virtually anybody who's left wing. All my friends did, all of them do Zins, or the real men do Copenhagen. The rest of them are doing Zins. Is that just a conservative thing, or do liberals do that too? Do liberals Zin? I don't know how that works. You should let David up and then boot him immediately. I guess Crow and David didn't have a good night. It's just a conservative thing. I dip cope. Good for you. I don't think David, he might be blocked still at this point. I have no idea. Is he still sitting up on that live screaming at folks? Crow, you got booted? Queen Toy, hi, how are you? I didn't know Crow got booted. Yeah, come tell me about it. Come tell us. Hey, are you here? Come tell me about it. I want to know why you got booted. Don't bring David up. All caps. That all caps can stay, mods. We'll leave that all caps can stay. I vote no on David. I was a Mormon. Yeah, it was so stupid. It's so dumb. I forget I have to say this sometimes. I have to be careful about what I say sometimes. RTP Zaddy. I like that. Is Crow here? Let me see. Let me message him. How many pairs of shoes did David buy? That's exactly what I said when I first saw the shoes. When I think Felice sent them to me. I can't remember. Someone. And I'm like, David's going to buy those. But they sold out so quick. I don't think he has that type of internet access. I've seen him on lives. I don't think he was beating the clock on that one. I'm good, River Root. Thank you. Good evening, Anne. Just a reminder, if there's any MAGA here, and I'm just offering to be your friend, but you have to promise to stop being silly, and we can talk about that. They're an investment. Look, I said it earlier, but Jake is Crow and Arrow got he got banned. Oh, that's tough. He got one pair. I think it's a good investment, to be honest. I think it's going to pay off later. It really becomes a good investment if Trump winds up like going to prison. Then that's going to wind up being a really good investment. Jake, what did he do? Let me ask him. What did he do? You psychos. Listen, I'm not going to be on here too long if we don't drum up some Republicans to talk to. So do me a favor and send this to your favorite or least favorite Republicans. Jake got it for harassment and bullying. It's a tough one, Jake. Sorry, buddy. Let's see. Why is Nikki Haley trending tonight? That's not good. Is that Nikki Haley? Has anybody seen Nikki Haley tonight? She looks different, and I don't know why. What's she doing? I don't know if she's got different makeup. Maybe she got some... Did she get thicker eyebrows? Somebody help me out with Nikki Haley. Why does she look so different? Who's been converted? Yeah, if you want to talk... I mean, anybody can talk about why they don't want to vote for Biden. I'll talk to anybody that's opposed to what I stand for. That works for me. Is it Botox? Is that what it is? I mean, she looks really, really different. Is that what Botox does? Just... I guess, isn't Botox, isn't that HVAC has been converted? Is that real? Is he actually converted now? I've been saying it for a while that HVAC was going to switch sides. He just has to chill. Well, it's this, if anybody's seen this video, here's how you can look for it. I'll play it, but I'll just play the audio for it.
He was completely wrong because every time he was in the same room with him, he got weak in the knees. We can't have a president that gets weak in the knees with Putin. We have to have a president that's going to be strong with Putin in every sense of the word.
That's going to be a tough, that's going to be a tough one. Calling him weak in the knees around Putin. That's a tough burn. Hey, Maverick, are you really my son? That'd be terrific if you were my son. Unless you suck. HVAC takes Botox, and I don't know what those things... Oh, I don't know what those are. Look, I'm not even criticizing Nikki Haley. I just never know what, Listen, if you want to get Botox, you should get Botox. I couldn't figure out why her face looked so different. And it could have just been like a haircut, could be lighting, could be RTV's. Get out of here. It could be a lot of things. I wasn't sure. But is that why she's trending? She's going to be the most disappointing human ever when she does all this campaigning and then endorses Trump. It's going to be I mean, we all see it coming, but it's going to be a massive letdown. Botox is for migraines? I didn't know that. What did the rug say? Oh, it's just the eyeballs. I didn't know that about migraines. Jake says he'll win the appeal. I guess then he's going to tell me about it. If you're if you're up for farming, that'd be great. Let me go back. Oh, Carrie Lake's trending tonight. We're in luck. We are in luck. I think it's almost every night. Any guess on why Carrie Lake is trending tonight? Yeah, it's after dark. Botox for sweatiness? Get out of here. Could I get Botox? Can you get Botox anywhere? Anywhere that you might sweat that might be inconvenient? RTP's bitch. Bishop. That's unbelievable. What was I talking about that they do in South Korea for cheap? Oh, Botox. Yeah. Listen, it gets steamy in the summer here, and I like to play golf in the summer when it's hot, and basically the sweat is where the clothes are, and I got on the shortest shorts I'm allowed and the thinnest shirt I'm allowed. Drink up, where is old C-Note? Where's C-Note been? I miss C-Note. Botox wherever you want. I had no idea. I got 27 shots every 3 months. That's a lot. That seems like too many needles. Does it hurt? It's injections, right? Oh. Not the shortest. Oh, listen, my legs are exposed. I let the babies hang out as much as I can. I need as much airflow as I can get. It stings. Oh. I think I'm just gonna be like, I'm so afraid of needles. I don't think that I'll ever get Botox. Can you do Botox in like a funny way? Could you if you wanted to have like a permanent frown, could they do Botox so that like your face just stayed in a permanent frown? That'd be like a really good bet that'd be one of those dumb fantasy football bets. Like, if you lose fantasy football, you have to get Botox for a year that keeps your face in a permanent frown. If that's possible, that'd be unbelievable. No, I didn't tell anybody, Jen. You're not the boss of me. I can do things on my own. You are the boss of me. I'm sorry. I just went for it, Jen. I wanted to see what would happen. It has to make me a mod for tonight's live second by David and then mute him. Jake wants mod powers and invite David. What? Well, where is David? Did anybody invite him? I just like seeing the response to this. Did you guys... I don't know. I don't know if I feel good about this one. I'm not going to talk about it. Let me see what the right thing to... If any of you have... if any of you guys have Twitter, just don't search Neanderthal Marjorie Taylor Greene. Just don't search it, okay? It's nothing. It's nothing you need to see. You invited David and Jeff. I didn't know David was still around. I thought he had been banned off everything. And then I remembered that I think we maybe just banned all his accounts. I always forget that if somebody gets banned in the... You are, my friend. I forget that if you get banned in a live, it bans you from the creator. So Jen basically owns my block list. Jen's letting everybody know that I'm in trouble for making my own decisions. Now, I can make my own decisions. What did you say up there? Is that my meme? Is that your meme for real? Wait, is that really your meme? Did you make that meme? Anybody get a pair of Air Fraud ones? Big boy. Oh, nothing's happening, Benny. Nothing's happening. RTP's with get out of here. You guys are insane. Wait, so was that, whoever that was that really your meme that you put up there? That's, again, and nobody needs to search Marjorie Taylor Greene Neanderthal. Just don't do it. As much as, it's not worth it. It's not worth Googling Marjorie Taylor Greene Neanderthal. Again, don't do it. It's not Jen. I don't know if they're all Jen. Jen, are they all you? All right, I can't find it now. All right, let's go back to Carrie Lake. That's what we were trying to figure out before I got distracted. Why Carrie Lake's in the news today. Okay, so today, Carrie Lake lied to... Is this a new tweet? Let me make sure. Yeah. Carrie Lake lied to Bruce St. James and Barry Markson today when she said after her McCain attacks during the 2022 race were a joke and McCain would be laughing if he heard her. Stop that, Mr. Gill. You'd be I guess... So, Lake's claims that these are jokes. We're not going to let McCain types take this country back. She called McCain a loser and bad for our state and country and said he led us into the ground and that McCain and his types are the reason the GOP was on life support. Yeah, it's like, I'm pretty sure that our Arizona GOP is bankrupt. I'm pretty sure.
Is what me?
What?
Is what me?
Oh, I can't hear you. Hold on. I got to do that mic thing. Let's see. All right. I think I should be able to hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. What?
So is what me?
What?
So is what me? Did you say, is this Jen? What's me?
I just felt like you were going to come on and yell at me, so I was getting defensive.
I mean, I probably can find something to yell at you for. I didn't have anything presently.
Oh, okay.
About. But no,
All
I think David's still live crying about...
Oh, no. He's having a bad night?
I mean, he's really upset. He thought he was owning Jake for a minute. It didn't really work out well. Doing the typical David crybaby stuff.
Well, he'll turn it around.
He won't. We know better than that.
He'll turn it around.
I mean, we let him have one account back, and if he wants to come in and cry, I mean, I can ban that one or mute that one again too if he can't behave, which is fine.
You're gonna ban it. You're gonna ban it anyways?
I'll let him have like one comment and then I'll mute it. I'll give him like a minute at a time. Like I'll play with him. Like let him comment half a word and then take it away. You know,
Jen, is this not inviting? I think this is the most inviting way I could possibly talk to these potatoes, and nobody.
I mean, you do make bad decisions. We know that. I mean, you'll be friends with people. You'll be friends with people just because they are bad people. So, yeah. I mean, we all know your decision-making skills are questionable. So.
All right. Well, I thought I made a good decision tonight.
I think it's
to try
it's a
and
thought.
it's not triggering enough. All right.
It's not very baity. I mean, but I'm mean. So.
Oops, that's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Let's try. How about that?
I mean that's better.
That's baity.
That's better. I mean, I usually insult more. I do more insulting. So, I mean, it's a start. It's a start.
Well, what's gonna be more triggering? Help me out. Maybe I'm not a good triggerer.
I mean, true. I mean, you do like to try to see the best in all of the awful people. So.
Yeah, but well, you hate everybody, so that's kind of.
I do. That's true.
I trigger.
That's true. I don't like most people. That's fair. So.
Who is the rug? Do you know? It's not you.
I don't know. I was actually gonna ask.
I thought maybe it was you. Which ones are you?
I actually don't. I have like one account that I use for like screen recording, which has no actual name on it. I don't actually have any good burner accounts currently.
It's devastating.
I mean, I've got access. I mean, I used one. I don't know if you were around when I made an Athena's X one. Oh, you were in that one. That's right.
Athena's X? No, I don't remember that one.
I think I screen recorded some of it. It's where they were talking about like one of Athena's exes, and I put her face in the background.
Oh yeah, are those? Yeah, but didn't she catfished like a 20-year-old or something, or like a 30-year-old, and she was like 13 or something, right?
That was one of the things she did. Yeah,
that's the amazing story. That's one of the best stories I've ever heard.
Oh, look who's here!
Who?
Look who's here!
Oh, hey!
What's going on?
I heard you were having a night. Somebody told me you were having a night.
Oh, I was having fun. Well, where was I having a night at?
I don't know. They said David's on one. Could you turn your mic down so I don't have to hear you swallow? That'd be all right.
Sorry. There we go. Is that it?
Yeah. I never knew you could hear the individual muscles of somebody's neck while they were eating. That's the first time.
It's this badass mic I have, dude.
Well, I had to get a new one. Mine was all clicky.
Dad,
Everybody started copying me by
1,000.
Yeah. So what's up, man? Feeling pretty good? What do you feel about that last judgment against Trump?
Oh, I mean, do you think we thought anything else? Do you think we thought, like, you guys are jumping for joy? It's never mattered to us, especially New York.
It's never mattered.
Does it matter?
No, not this. I mean, this doesn't put him in jail or anything. I mean.
Yeah, well, but it's like all of his money, right?
Well, it's like we know because he's got to put up collateral. You guys are so fucking misled. It's just like when you guys say that he's never paid his mortgages. He was behind on his mortgages. Just wasn't true.
Well, I mean, he's got to put up a lot of stuff.
Collateral. Yeah, he's got to put.
Yeah, I mean, a lot. He has 30 days to come up with half a $1 billion.
Well, Crow's gonna get rid of me. He already said it in your comments, so.
I don't know what that means.
He says, you want to see a magic trick? He wants to get me to disappear right now, so.
Oh, well, I don't.
They control you, bro. They control you.
Well, he doesn't. He might have mod access. I don't know.
Not on this account. He doesn't. I mean, I could give it to him if I.
No, we're not going to do that.
No, they control you, bro. They control you, bro. That's okay. That's who you became. It's okay.
Don't be.
I don't care. I like you, bro.
What do you mean by that, David? What do you mean?
Well, it is what it is, man. I mean, that doesn't matter to me. I mean, there's plenty of other people to talk to.
What you mean?
I just known you the longest on here, actually. So
probably, yeah.
You and T, maybe T.
Besides, Diva was around before you were around, I think. But yeah. But what do you mean they? What do you mean? Well, they do tell me what to do a lot. But what do you mean by that?
I mean, in fairness, I do what I want to do. No, I mean.
Well, when people tell you, "Hey, bro, we're gonna make you a news outlet," or whatever your dreams are, bro. Like TikTok's not my dream, but I do enjoy talking to you.
Yeah, but what are you talking about? I still don't know what you're saying. Who got, like, do you think somebody's, like, paying me or something?
No, I don't think you're not at that stage. No way.
And if you're getting paid, I'm going to be really mad because, you know.
They send me fucking things all the time. They want me to join groups. I don't want to. I'm not on here for that, so.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what you're saying. You said I changed. What do you mean?
Well, I was just letting you know Crow was going to, like, silence me or whatever.
So you don't think I changed? I'm still the same.
I don't think. I think you're basically the same person, but I think you do fall into a narrative because you have to because of other people. Yes.
What narrative do you think I'm falling to?
I don't, dude. Just I don't know. I'm not going to bring up the lawyer because you guys get upset. Ever since that happened, some of you guys have been like that. That's all. And you don't even know the guy.
I don't even know what you're talking about. What narrative?
You know,
no,
like
I know the story.
Blocking me or whatever.
No, the only reason you ever got blocked is because most of the time you just keep shouting over.
It's Crow, bro.
You can't.
It's Crow.
David, a lot of it's me.
It was mostly Jen.
Well, then, you know, TDS Jim or Jen.
Yeah. Look, sometimes it's not that fun.
TDS Jen. I mean, she's got TDS, bro. She's, you know, I mean, that's okay.
Like you, but I mean, I don't know if you were here.
Well, you have TDS. That's why you don't like me. You don't even know me. So
who are you?
David, do you think it's possible that a lot of people who interacted with you before and don't like to as much, maybe it's not as much about Trump and it might be more about
I get along with everybody, bro. I get along with everybody.
You're just talking about everybody that has been sorry, somebody said RTP needs a deep tissue, and I absolutely do. You're talking about everybody having TDS. What if it's just you?
Well, how would I have TDS?
No. What if they don't actually have TDS? They're just like bugged by you.
Well, no, because we see it with certain individuals. You know, like certain people. Like only somebody. There's only a certain amount of you guys. Like you started talking to Felice. Like I introduced you guys, and you guys have your little platform.
I don't know why. I don't know why you said that you introduced us. You didn't.
No, when it was Nemo, and them, and when you were solo, bro, you were pretty fucking cool.
They invited me on. They invited me, not you. They did.
Hey, David. Go fast. You there? Where'd you go?
Yeah, I was just switching my background.
So that's for Jake. And you can come back.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to ask
back up, but
all right, that was just for Jake. Come back up,
just for Jake. I won't do it again, just for Jake.
All right.
He doesn't have power, so I just did it for now. So you can come back now.
He might not. He might have made him mad. We might have lost David.
I mean, that's okay. I mean, he was trying to insult me, so it's...
I was trying to get him to stop being silly. I'd like everybody to stop being silly. I should have left up the silly part. That's what I should have done.
So, I mean, I had to help out. I'm
gonna have angry messages from him now.
That's okay.
Somebody share it back with David.
I didn't ban him. I just disconnected.
Oh, he might be back. Yeah.
I didn't ban him because I can disconnect him. So
there you go. Sorry, David. Jen won't do it again.
Unless you're being your normal
well, you have TDS, Jen. That's okay. I understand.
I don't give a shit about that. So
what do you think we do here, David? What do you think Trump's gonna do now? He owes $500 million. He can't get that from his PAC. It's questionable whether he has $500 million in assets. What do you think he's gonna sell? He's gonna sell.
Oh, I don't think he's going to sell anything. I think he's got... I think you guys are going to find out. Do you guys remember when there was a trucker in 2019 in Colorado that accidentally unalived some people down a slope, and the truckers protested, and they reduced the sentence down to 10 years? You know that, right?
No.
Oh, you don't know about that?
No.
In Colorado? It's pretty well known.
Are you saying that now that the truckers are protesting that Donald Trump's fine will get reduced?
Yeah, I think no, I think they're gonna. I think the courts are gonna reverse this. I really do.
Well, then, what did you bring up the truckers for?
Well, because that's gonna push the courts to do something. That's what happened with the truckers last time. You don't know that? The governor stepped in.
What governor?
The governor of Colorado stepped in on that situation.
To do what? What did he do?
To commune the sentence, and so.
What was this case about?
So who's going to?
There was a truck driver that was going down a hill and lost his brakes, and he unalived several people by accident, and the judge gave him a 110-year sentence. And then the truckers were so outraged, and the public was so outraged about it, that they protested for him, and the governor reduced his sentence to 10 years. So protest does work. If you don't think it works, you guys are
okay. Yeah, but so you think that there's going to be so many truckers boycotting that it's going to put pressure on the Supreme Court to lower the fine?
Yeah, I think that this is it's that along with many other things. It's more context than just one
what
thing.
Other things?
The fact that they'll be weaponizing the government after a lot of people, because a lot of people conduct business this way when it comes to lending.
Who else conducts business this way?
Most corporations do. Most businesses that get lending, they say it's worth $10 million. Maybe it's worth $7. Okay, they've literally try to get lending.
They've literally prosecuted thousands of people under the same statute that they're prosecuting Trump under. So
no, not when you paid back all your debts and you've this is.
Oh, maybe you don't
cite me a court case.
Yeah, maybe you don't understand what he's been charged for. Maybe that's the disconnect. I'm not sure you know what he got, why he's paying that.
No, I don't care too much about the New York case. But I do. I am not as well versed on it.
Then maybe when I start talking,
it was a bench trial.
Then maybe, David, when I start talking, listen instead of talking over me after I.
I've heard you talk about.
I just let you talk.
I know,
David. So you just. So this is why I think people are frustrated with you, David. I'm about to tell you something you don't know. And you have already decided. You've already decided you disagree with it. You're like, I don't need.
No, I probably do know, David, but I don't know what you're talking about yet.
David, this is why people are frustrated with you. It's literally like talking to a wall.
I don't care.
Okay, so what did he get? Like, why is he paying?
Muted. Because you can't
why is he paying that amount of money?
Okay, Jen, be quiet.
Let me
quiet,
take care of this.
Quiet, Jen.
Oh, you
don't do that. Don't do that, David.
All right, go ahead, Jay. Keep going.
So what are his charges for?
I believe some of it was the size of his room. Like he misquoted the size of the rooms, got lending that, what was the number one lending, the different groups, A, B, C, D, rates, and you guys are saying that he would have a lower level rate. And I don't, he's got lots of business relationships. I think that the judge is just being biased towards him, man. I mean, he paid back all.
All right, so I don't think you know what he got charged for, David. So when you commit fraud, whether the person you commit fraud against knows it or not, it's fraud. And from the moment you make that fraudulent act...
Not necessarily.
Wait, no, yes, 100%. This is how the law works. No, David, you can have no victims, or the victims cannot care, or the victims can be complicit. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. You have committed fraud. In this country, we have a country of laws. You can acquire money only certain ways. And if you acquire money in an illegal manner, whatever act, your first act of fraud, from that point on, every dollar that you make, you have to give back. You don't get to keep any of that.
If you committed the fraud.
But he did commit the fraud, and that's really evident that he did, because he lied and admitted that he lied about the size of his apartment. He has repeatedly used higher valuations to acquire loans and lower valuations with taxes. That shows that he lied.
No.
David, is it the truth? Can something be worth two different amounts?
Is it the bank's responsibility to do their own due diligence?
No, it's not.
It's not? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is.
David, no, it's not. Hold on. Not for fraud, it's not. Whether the bank
not for
catches,
fraud.
Whether this was fraud. The bank either didn't care or they didn't catch it. But it doesn't matter.
So,
he still committed fraud, because he committed fraud against me and you, David. He took the American system and he cheated our system.
He paid people.
It doesn't matter if he paid them back. He cheated the system. So from that fraudulent point forward, every dollar he made has to come back. David, there's people.
It's not going to stand.
David,
bro.
there's people that did life in jail for distributing the green plant. They did life in jail for that. Were there victims?
Okay. Yeah, white collar crime. There's lots of people.
No, but was it a crime? But was it a crime?
Of course.
So does there have to be a victim, David?
I just want to see a trial pan out that was actually a jury and stuff. That's all.
Well, yeah, Alina.
No, there was no jury. His lawyer checked the box. Whatever.
Anyway,
yeah, why wasn't there a jury?
Okay, but this one, the reason this case in particular, this is like white collar crime. Am I worried about it too much as a president of the United States? Not really. I'm really not. You know, in this instance, am I interested in the crimes? Yes, I am. The true crimes. If he misled the people and said that there was election fraud when there wasn't, I'm really interested in those things.
We know what you
the
care
fraud.
About. Well, we know what you care and don't care about. You've already explained that.
The fraud.
Then don't come on and pretend he didn't commit fraud. That's it. Just say you don't care. But he definitely committed fraud. This was an easy case, and everybody.
We just have a different scope of this.
David,
that's all.
Everybody on Trump's side said this was a slam dunk trial. Everybody knew this was a slam dunk.
Nobody said that. Nobody on Trump's side said. Dude, you're so full of shit, dude.
Yes, they did. I can find quote after quote of.
And I can find quote after quote of people saying that this has never been done before. This is unruly. Mr. Wonderful. Everybody else. What are you talking about? High prominent people around the world.
Mr. Wonderful is not somebody that's on the left that's commenting. I'm talking about Trump's attorneys.
You said his own
high-powered
people.
attorneys. Yes, Republican attorneys that have worked for him. His attorney general, who obviously worked for him, all said this is a slam dunk case. And the reason it is because his personal attorney and his CEO gave testimony that they committed fraud. So you had, and both sons admitted that they signed the papers, and Donald Trump himself admitted he committed fraud. They all admitted it. It's so weird that you think he's innocent. Just say you don't.
Okay, care. Fine. He committed fraud in New York. Can we get past to New York? He committed fraud in New York. He's already got to pay money for it. We'll find out what the appeals say. Okay, that's the stage we're at. Okay, sure. But the Fawning Willis. It's not that I don't care. It's just it's hard to be able to debate some of these topics because he gets his appeals, he gets his due process, and we're really in an argument. How is he going to be able to appeal? Well, I think he's got enough collateral for it. You think he doesn't, and that's really the only arguments right now.
No, what happened, David? He has to come up with that money within 30 days, and that money goes.
Okay, we'll find out in 30 days.
David,
we'll find out in 30 days.
Wait, hold on. That goes into escrow. He has to.
Yeah, $5 million. I know $5 million is already for Eugene Carroll. I know.
This has to be cash, David.
So that's you're wrong. Question. You're wrong, and we'll find out in 30 days. You're wrong. We'll find out in 30 days. Okay, you're right, Jay. Fine, you're right. Okay, be right.
Yeah.
So we can get past this argument, please.
Yeah, no, this is how it works, David. This is what I'm talking about. You don't care about what the truth is. You just want to.
No, because we'll find out in 30 days.
Be quiet. No, we won't. We already know, David. This has to be
No,
cash.
we don't.
So he either has to put up collateral to a bail bondsman, and the bail bondsman gives them cash, or he has to come up with the cash himself. But cash,
he'll get lending.
The problem is, who's going to give this guy $500 million?
There's a lot. You think Donald Trump doesn't have relationships all around New York and everything else? You think that? You think because New York is Democrat that he doesn't have a foundation, a rock solid foundation in that state? Are you kidding me?
Somebody that's going to give him $500 million?
Yeah, I mean he's been a good lender. He's been a good person to lend to. He hasn't been good.
No, David, he is not.
To contractors,
he has
contractors.
6 bankruptcies on casinos alone. He bankrupted like 25 businesses.
Look at the chapters he filed on those.
Is a nightmare.
He kept the buildings
to lend to, and the reason and there's a reason only one bank will work with him, and it's Deutsche. It's the only bank that'll loan him money. No other bank in this country will loan.
This is not a winning argument. We're going to find out in time what happens with this.
It's a very winning argument. You just said.
No, but Fannie Willis is falling apart, brother, and that's what's happening.
That's Georgia.
And you guys are. I was watching you and Felice. I was watching you and Felice.
We're in New York. Are you done with
I don't care about New York, dude.
Okay.
Do you really care about it?
Yeah, I want you, David, because this is why people.
I mean, honestly, do you really care about it?
Be quiet. Yeah, I do. It matters to me.
Okay.
I think we should care that our former president is such a dirty crook. Like, I do think we should.
Yeah, he's definitely not a crook. I don't think he's a crook.
Unfortunately, he keeps losing.
Well, I think he's winning, and I see it the other way around.
Yeah, he's only $500 million down. Winning. What are you talking
Well, it's like when you guys...
He's lost $500 million in fines because he lost court.
He hasn't lost anything. He's put up $5 million. That's it. He's only put up $5 million. That's it.
He also has to put up 83. He lost those cases.
He has to put up collateral, yes.
If somebody will allow him to.
And if you think that it's not going to be reduced, I'm not saying that he won't end up with some fines from this New York case,
David,
but it's not going to be 300 and 400 million, dude.
Why?
It's just not.
Why?
What do you mean why?
Why?
This is this has never been done before.
Correct. It's the biggest. Yeah. You know what? Do you know how they come up with that number that you have to pay, David?
Oh, I forget. What's his name was telling me how they came up with that. The amount that they would have owed.
It's a formula.
Yeah. The amount he would have had to pay an interest.
Wait, so you're saying now that people, because he is Donald Trump and because you like him, you think that although everybody else has used that exact formula for what they have to pay back, Donald Trump shouldn't because you like him?
No, I'm saying that I think that they're gonna reduce a lot of these fines because they're gonna find out that this bench trial wasn't done very accurately, man. I just think that the calculations are false.
Why? What was wrong? What was done wrong, David?
I don't, like I said, I don't pay attention to this New York case.
Why are you sure that something went wrong?
I think that judge in particular is definitely biased towards.
Doesn't matter.
There's a bench trial.
David, doesn't matter.
There's a bench trial.
David, you're biased about Trump.
He wasn't allowed to introduce evidence.
You're right. No, he wasn't allowed to introduce whatever he wanted. There's a big difference.
That's fine.
They introduced,
and there's going to be a challenge to this. He's allowed his due process.
I understand that, David. I understand that.
Well, that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, but David, this is why everybody's sick of you. Is because what
do you mean everybody, dude? I go to plenty of platforms, dude. I just don't come to yours very much anymore.
Where's MAGA?
Because you're moderator.
Like the last live you were in.
We've been talking,
dude. What do you mean in Dange's live? Are you talking about fucking Nemo and fucking Crow? No, it was Nemo and Crow. Okay.
So
and Nemo wasn't even doing it that bad. It's just you imbecile moderators.
Please, can we stay on subject?
She's probably over there twitching behind the camera. I can't stand him.
David, shut up. Shut up. You're not that. Nobody cares about you that much. That's silly. What I'm saying is you don't care about the facts about anything. You will have strong opinions, and you have no idea what the facts are of cases. So I'm just wondering why you think anybody should take you seriously. You don't know the facts about literally anything, but you're like, it'll be changed. Why? I don't know. Don't you think, as somebody who speaks this often and this publicly, that you should be educated on like something?
Who says that I need to be anything? Are you trying to tell me what I need to be? I identify as a Democrat.
I'm asking your opinion. See, and you just said I identify as a Democrat. That's a dumb shit answer. It's not even an answer. It's not even an answer to the question I just asked. Do I need to ask it in like smaller sentences so you can follow it, Dave?
Sure. I was busy dealing with your moderator.
Oh, I know.
Because they're a clown.
I know. Dude, calm down.
I don't report anybody. I don't report anybody. It's me, myself.
The comments. Do I have to turn off the comments for you, David?
No, I'm just saying I don't do that, bro. I really don't. I never have. I got rid of my moderator. Actually, I got rid of my moderator because of you.
Nobody asked you. Why are you?
But do you know that,
David? I don't. David. Yeah, it was good advice by me, David. Why don't?
No, but I got rid of the moderator. Yeah, I did.
It was really good advice by me. You're welcome.
Yep.
Why don't?
And you're doing the same thing now.
Why, David? Shut up. Why don't you think it's important to know anything? Like you don't.
I didn't say it's not important to know anything.
Well, then why do you have an opinion?
I'm not concerned with the New York case all that much.
Why? No. Can you please answer the question I'm asking? Now listen to just my question. Why?
I would love to tell you my appraisal I got, and I had to go through the bank, and they had to do their own due diligence. Okay.
Up. Hold on. Let me finish my question, David. This is so silly. Okay. Do you think you should have an opinion on something you know nothing about?
No, I do know about. I just don't know everything about to do with the case. And I get lending in commercial. David, I have commercial lending
David,
myself.
Hold on.
Okay.
David,
I've already explained this to you.
David, this is about the case. I asked you what he was charged with, and you had no idea.
Oh, dude, you
didn't even know.
I told you the size of his rooms. He misinterpreted the size of his rooms.
Not what he was charged with.
I don't know the charge. I don't remember the charges in this case.
Fraud.
Yeah, fraud. Of course, he put it on his taxes. He put it wrong on his taxes.
And where else?
I forget, man. I honestly forget.
On loan documents, David. No,
yeah, loan documents.
Can a building be worth two different amounts?
Yes.
Starkly different. Like, could you think you can have a building with like $20 million difference and having and you think that you should be allowed legally
tax assessed value and appraised value. Yes.
What's
definitely.
the tax assessed value, David?
Well, if you own your own house, you should know this, okay? If you do, so if you look at your assessed value and you look at where your value of your house is, they're dramatically different. Dramatically.
No, I'm asking you what tax assessed value is. How do they determine what the tax assessed value is?
They usually put a significantly percentage less value because in case we do have a shitty economy, we don't have to pay everybody back.
Like, what do they do to determine it?
They survey the land. They look at the area.
You said you were in commercial lending, so you must know all about the.
But I don't deal with assessed value all that much. I don't work for the fucking county here.
Oh, so what you were saying is you don't know what the fuck you're talking about again?
No, I don't work for the county. And you pay a lot less.
I'm not asking you if you work for the county. I'm asking you how they figure out the appraisal value.
No, you said assessed value. You said assessed value.
The assessed value is
big difference.
It's an appraisal. No, it's not. It's still an appraisal, David.
No, assessed value is assessed by the state. Okay, it's not assessed by the value you have appraised for a lending.
Where do they come up with that number, David? Where do they come up with that number?
Usually off the group of houses that sell in the area, and they come up with a value of the home, and they put it significantly less in case it was that we ever had a bad economy. The government wouldn't have to pay everybody back.
So it doesn't.
That's the truth.
First of all, it doesn't have to be less, but basically, it's just like
they usually do.
Yeah. So basically, what I'm telling you is that they can choose a different value, right? But it's basically the local government saying, "Here's what your house is worth," versus what like maybe a realtor would value your house at. And most of the time, they're pretty close. But that's
they're not. No, they're not. Wrong.
Well, maybe not where you live. Where I live, it's pretty damn close.
Even in Arizona. I used to live in Arizona.
David, you don't even know.
You're wrong.
David, you don't think I know my assessed value?
I'm not saying you don't know, but I'm saying David, the value of your home and assessed value are dramatically different. It's at least $100,000 difference.
It's not. It's not even close to $100,000 difference. It's about an $8,000 difference.
Okay, well,
okay.
I think you're wrong.
Way,
I can't say your house.
But either way, this other thing that you didn't know about also isn't what Donald Trump did. Donald Trump used he paid for the appraisal on both of these, and he put a fake value on the bank documents and a fake value on his tax documents, and neither one of those documents are actually very close to what he actually had.
So you don't have to put so if you get an appraisal done and you pull equity out of your place, that's not what you have to do for
what
on your taxes.
Wait, what? How is that?
So if you pull equity out of your house right now and you get a value on your home of $500,000, okay, you have enough equity where you can borrow $100,000 or something, okay?
Sure.
And so you don't need to put on your taxes that your house is valued at $500,000.
I didn't say that. Nobody's saying that. That's not.
Well, I thought that's what you're saying. I thought you're that's what you're trying to say about Trump.
You're showing you don't know what happened in this case. You don't know any of the details.
I told you I don't know much about this case.
You know zero things about the case except for that you think Donald Trump's innocent, and you're willing to sit up here. I don't care about this case. And you're willing to sit up here and pretend that you know. And
he's not going to jail for this.
David, I'm just asking you why you're so sure of something that you know nothing about.
I know that the judge is biased. I know that there's no jury involved.
How do you know
it's a bench trial.
How do you know the judge is biased?
I guess the media lied to me, bro. I mean, this is not one of the cases I really focus on.
I'm asking, how do you know? If you make a claim, how do you know he's biased?
That's what I think. That's my opinion, my feelings.
So you don't know. So again, when I said
that's my feelings,
but I said you don't know anything about this.
We vote on feelings,
and you said I know that the judge is biased, and I said, how do you know? It turns out it's your feelings. So we're still stuck at square one, where you don't know one single thing about this case.
No, you guys are stuck at square one with Stormy Daniels.
I've researched it. I read it. Like I know about this case. I watched.
Of course you did. You're consumed with this one. I get it.
Yeah.
Like, Trump's got to pay $300 million. Cool, man.
David, why are you so convinced you're right?
I do because there's so many other opinions out there stating otherwise. Just like people watch me, they'll watch you, and they have opinions.
No. Are you saying?
Yeah. That's how the world works.
Are you saying that you base your opinion on things not off your own knowledge, but just guessing on whose opinion you like better?
No, based off the information that's been fed to me.
Hold on. That's what you just said. You said, I don't know anything about this, but there's other people who have a different...
I didn't say I didn't know anything. I said I'm not as educated on this one.
What's one thing you know about this case?
Well, like
you said, I know the judge...
The lending. The lending, for instance.
What about
Donald Trump would have definitely got #1 lending, okay, and got a good percentage on this loan, okay? And
who cares?
even when the banks were crashing this
have anything to do with this case,
over a year ago, I got 6.33%, and that was a commercial lending.
None of that has anything to do with this case. Not one single thing you just said matters to this case.
Well, you're stuck on this case, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I keep asking you if you know anything, and you say yes, and then I ask you what, and then you say something that you don't know or isn't relevant. So I'm going to ask again, what's one thing you know about this case?
I know that they're charging him with some fraud crimes, and he overstated the value of his home, supposedly his penthouse, and just things along that nature.
And so with that baseline knowledge, you're absolutely convinced that he's innocent, and you wonder why people are getting you're like, why is everybody mad at me?
This is the New York fraud. Dude, this has nothing to do with it, dude.
You want Trump to be innocent, and you don't care what the evidence is.
I don't give a fuck about the fraud case. No, I don't.
That no matter what the evidence is, it doesn't matter. You're not looking at it anyways, so you're just going to conclude that Trump.
You just know I don't care about this case, and you don't want to talk about anything else. That's all.
I don't think you care about anything other than
that's your biased
showing
opinion,
Donald Trump your loyalty. Well, you don't know anything. Want to talk about a case you know something about? You want to go to Fani Willis?
Yeah, we can go to Georgia.
Let's go to Georgia. All right, why is Fani Willis in trouble?
Well, she ran her campaign off the fact that you don't have sex with your employees. Okay, she literally ran her campaign on the previous administration. Corruption? Yes, she did.
She didn't.
She didn't? Okay, I'll pull it up because you don't have that. I know you don't. She did run her campaign on that. And that's a fact.
So that was her #1 campaign issue?
That was one of them, yes.
Okay. Oh, you mean it's something she said? Or is this her #1 campaign?
She ran off of this. She literally ran off of this.
What does that mean?
That she said that you shouldn't be sleeping with your staff. You should not be doing that. We have a corrupt...
Was Nathan Wade her staff?
Yeah, definitely.
No. Nope.
Yes. She was hired staff. Yes, he was hired staff. He was hired contracted staff.
He wasn't staff. He was
contracted staff. What are you talking about, dude?
No, now you know what a private contractor is. You know
you're still contracted. You're still contracted staff.
You give somebody
just because you're 1099.
Then it changes things. As a sole proprietor, as an independent contractor, you're not bound.
They still have to follow rules.
You're not bound by those same rules. You're not.
That's not true.
But tell me why she's in trouble is what I want to know.
Well, if she if he lied on the court documents, okay, that said there was no previous relationships, okay, and come to find out that she knowingly put this forth and forward along with whistleblowers, okay.
Was there any evidence
that got fired?
Was there any evidence?
Yes, there is.
Was there any evidence that said that timeline exists?
Yes.
What's the evidence?
I watched most of the hearing. I honestly, I'd have to go back.
Oh, you don't know. You don't. Okay, again, you don't know.
You be honest and tell me what the evidence was against him.
I will be honest because both Nathan Wade and Fani Willis explained when their relationship started, how it operated.
Oh yeah, I forgot about her cash under her pillow. When
it ended, their stories lined up perfectly.
Oh, they most definitely didn't.
What? Okay, tell me.
He couldn't even think about that cabin. He couldn't even. So I will point out some contradictions. He couldn't even remember if he had a cabin with her or not. Okay, and then the apartment. What is that? And then the apartment where he was showing up by himself.
One by one. What does that prove if he couldn't remember?
That's the proof that they have.
No,
that's the proof they have.
What does that prove?
It proves that she's lying.
No, it doesn't prove anything. What does
How do you know? Is the court case over?
David,
how do you know that?
If somebody, we'll
see what the judge says.
We're basing on. Do you think the judge would rule that because he couldn't remember and said I don't remember that means that he definitely went? You would need other evidence to prove that he knew that he was lying right there. So even if he did go to a cabin,
this is not one of those.
Then you have to establish that he knew the date that he went to the cabin. Do you understand how evidence works?
This is not one of those decisions. The judge is going to make his own decision based off the facts of the case, if he wants to remove her for misconduct, and they have to remove the whole case, the whole entire office from the case.
I asked you, David.
Georgia state law.
I asked you, David, what is she in trouble for? You said
misconduct.
She's in trouble, but the one thing you brought up so far, there's no evidence.
It's not just
to back
me.
It up. I'm only talking to you, David, sweetheart. So
yeah, there's plenty of evidence.
Okay, what's another piece of evidence? Because that first one didn't prove anything. Do you have a different one?
Yeah, it did prove something. It proved that he was going. So going to the apartment. There was a condo.
No, we're talking about the cabin. We're gonna go one by one.
But you said other evidence. You said other evidence. You said that evidence didn't prove anything.
I know you want.
And I went to another evidence.
I know you want to go to the next one, but that first piece of evidence, did it prove?
But because you said the first one didn't work out, so you said go to the next one.
And I'm asking, do you agree with that?
I think that it looks highly suspicious, and the judge is going to make his own decision.
Suspicious of what?
That it doesn't look like they conducted themselves very professional, and I think that he's going to take that into account when it comes to a major case like this.
What does remembering whether or not they went to a cabin have to do with being professional?
I think that the picture that's been painted throughout the court case, from what I watched and the things I've heard about it, I watched most of the court case. I think that it looks pretty bad that she came running into the courtroom, couldn't wait to get there, out of breath, flustered with her words, and I don't think it was nice and pretty like you're making it.
And what does that prove?
I think it will prove to the judge that there was definitely some. Well, so there was funds.
The judge as a judge is required to make his decision based on the evidence. So I'm asking you for the evidence, and all you keep saying is, oh, the narrative that I've seen.
No, the misappropriation of funds, the $700 and almost $800,000. The almost $700,000 to Nathan Wade, but not the other two attorneys. They made less than $100,000.
Hold on, that was never in the court case, or not in the court case. That was never. Yeah, that's not even brought up. The question right now. No, this is about ethics, and the question before the court is basically, did defense attorney Fonnie Willis commit ethical violations by having a romantic relationship with Nathan Wade? That's what they're deciding. That's all they're deciding. It has nothing to do with how much anybody was paid. They've covered that. Nobody's even disputing. Like, there's no attorney there disputing that he got paid too much. He got paid less than what he normally gets paid. There's
not true. Not true at all. No, okay, almost $700,000 to Nathan Wade's firm.
David,
$100,000 to Cross's firm.
David,
Floyd's firm, $72,000.
David, you don't get to just like put up things whenever you want. But if you're going to, now I have to explain this. What you just put up right there is proof of absolutely not a goddamn thing.
Yeah, Nathan Wade. Nathan Wade.
What does it prove?
With the cheapest attorney, guys. The cheapest attorney. Look at the numbers.
David, how do attorneys get paid? How do attorneys get paid?
Wiping the floor with RDB. It's funny.
How do attorneys get paid?
Oh, that's fine, dude. That's fine.
Yeah, if you're not going to answer my questions, I'll turn off your camera.
I'm going to answer your questions, but
how do attorneys get paid?
Well, they get paid by the hour usually.
How do attorneys
I'm answering your question. Okay. So why can't I have it up there?
So what would
why am I not allowed to have it up there?
Okay, now pull it up. So what do those totals reflect, David?
I think that either it was contracted on a flat fee.
How many hours they worked. How many hours they worked.
It could be a flat fee.
They are paid by the hour.
We don't know that yet. We don't know that yet.
No, we do know that.
We just know the money. No, we just know the money. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Doesn't. You're the
you're wrong. You said this was the cheapest lawyer around.
No, I didn't.
$700,000. He had no experience with RICO.
All right, David.
But he happened to be the girlfriend of the DA.
All right, David. You don't get to just say the things that I'm not saying. I did not say it's the cheap. Shut up. I didn't say this is the cheapest lawyer.
It's the truth, bro.
I said he was making less doing this job than he does normally. But you have already proven that all this shows is that he worked more hours. So I thank you. So there's two things so far that you
they're enriching themselves.
Wait, what? Getting paid is enriching yourself now?
Yeah, I think in this case it was. Yes, and they also were misappropriation of funds, whistleblower. She fired the whistleblower. We got all the evidence, bro.
David, none of that was in this hearing. Not one none of that was.
Oh, yes it was. Yes, it was.
When was it in the hearing?
Her friend that said they were in a relationship beforehand. Yeah. You do know that, right?
Wait, what does that have to do with the three things you just mentioned?
Well, the whistleblower that was fired, that was in a hearing. That was in a hearing. Yes, it was.
Wait, why was the whistleblower fired? The whistleblower. Why were they fired?
Yeah, she was a whistleblower and she was fired.
Why were they fired?
You tell me.
Well, you watched the case, I thought.
I did.
Oh, well then explain to me, during the case, why did that whistleblower get fired?
She supposedly got fired because they weren't getting along in the office.
Nope. And so again. David didn't watch it. David didn't watch it. David didn't watch it at all. No, David, that's not what happened. Try again.
I did.
Why'd she get fired? Why'd she get fired, David?
I don't know.
You don't know, do you?
I don't remember.
So far he's shown us the total amount of wages he was paid for his hours. You don't know the evidence on the other part. Yeah, you're doing a bang up job. It's really believable that you're not just in a cult obsessed with Donald Trump. You haven't named a single fact tonight, and you're up here acting like you're not in a cult. Just admit it. If you just admit that the only thing you care about is Donald Trump.
Nathan Wade.
You don't care about facts.
Nathan Wade got paid $700,000.
Nathan Wade, I'm muting you. Respond to what I said.
He got paid $700,000.
No, I got to mute you again, David. I need you to answer my questions, okay?
What's your question, Jerry?
My question is, David, why should anybody take you seriously when you don't know the facts of anything?
Because the fact that Fannie Willis ran her campaign on not having sex with her employees, and that's what she did.
What does that prove?
That proves that she's an incompetent
person. Why would that mean that she was incompetent?
Because she doesn't go off exactly what she says. I mean, she ran her campaign on not being corrupt and not being unprofessional to the taxpaying citizens.
Why would that make her incompetent? It might make her a hypocrite, but not incompetent. Do you know what
she's incompetent means? She's incompetent to actually follow her own directions.
Oh, that's what you meant by it. And so that will get her kicked off the case for what reason?
Well, if come to find out that they lied about the relationship, that's a misfiling of documents. That's lying. Potential charges.
Is there any evidence that they lied about their relationship?
There's plenty of evidence saying they lied about their relationship.
What's that evidence?
One of them was her friend.
What evidence did her friend provide?
I think she provided statements that they had a relationship before they admitted to having this relationship.
Okay, and did anybody corroborate that? And did anybody have a different testimony?
I don't know.
Yeah, nobody corroborated, and
he's not allowed to take gifts when he's not on his regular platform. That's why.
And everybody else, corroborated her story. So she's the lone person corroborating
part of the White House, guys,
and she has no she has no material evidence to back it up.
Sorry, my kids were playing with a dog in the other room.
Okay, all right, I'll explain it one more time. Everybody else disagrees with her. They all testified differently than her, and she has no material evidence to back that up. So why should the judge take that one person's statement?
We'll find out what the judge rules.
No, why? I'm asking you. Why should the judge?
Because
why would you, as the judge, take one person's statement over everybody else's statement? And that one person didn't.
Because it's not one statement.
And that one person didn't provide any material evidence. It's just they're saying that's.
It's not the one statement. It's the unprofessionalism with the office. It's the whole critique that she had of the previous administration, and it's the evidence of the money being spent and supposedly cash money. She has admitted to taking funding from a campaign.
David, we got to do one by one.
I'm just saying there's a lot of reasons.
I heard you. We're going one by one. Okay. First of all, the cash. How much cash did she repay?
Oh, fuck. How much was it? $2,000 or $3,000, something like that?
Yeah, where'd that cash come from?
Under her pillow, because she doesn't let no man pay for her meal.
Where did that cash come from?
Fuck. I don't know. Your campaign?
I thought you watched the case.
I don't remember every word of it, dude.
You don't remember any words.
I got kids. They distract me sometimes.
Yeah. So she said where she got the money. She said she gets it from a lot of different places. Sometimes it's change. Sometimes she'll get cash back at a grocery store. She took out a large amount of cash when she was divorced, and she also took out a large amount of cash at the end of her campaign. And she said, "My dad taught me that. My dad taught me to always have cash." And then they brought on Nathan Wade, and Nathan Wade said, "Yes, she always paid me cash. She always had cash. She told me that she didn't need me to support her." And then they brought on her dad, and her dad also testified that he taught her to carry cash, and that he even bought her the lockbox where she keeps her cash. So again, every bit.
Hey, how come people can't send big gifts?
Shut the fuck up.
How come people can't send gifts?
All right, David, you're done. I'm done with you. You're so stupid. All right, SK, you're up. I can't do David anymore. What's up, SK?
What's up?
Hey.
So what do you want to talk about? I came in here in the middle of the New York fraud trial discussion, and I was like screaming at the phone.
You were? Well, tell me what you're screaming.
Because I feel like nobody really understands exactly what went on and the issues behind the New York fraud trial.
Okay. What did you think? Did you think I had the issues wrong?
Yeah, I think you both did, to be honest.
Oh, nice. Good.
But
go ahead.
Yeah. Hold on.
If you want to correct that, if you want to start there, that's fine.
Talk about it? No. You don't want to talk about it? I was going to try and get my husband to talk about it, but he gets really mad.
That's all right. Hello, husband.
Oh, he said hi.
Hi.
Well, I mean, the whole basis of the case is the statement of financial condition and all of that. And I don't think people understand the purpose of statement of financial conditions and
Could you explain it?
how they work in commercial lending.
Okay. Could you explain how the statement of financial condition is supposed to work?
Well, the borrower sends in a, personal financial statement that lists his assets and liabilities, and if there are any, assets that are owned under a closely held entity, those are also listed under closely held assets. And now, I think there was a part in there where it said in the court documents where it said that he listed assets that weren't his or something along those lines, or
he listed supposedly a higher percentage, like he
listed the value.
He owned it when he only owned a percentage of it.
Percentage of it. So he
also valued properties for more than anybody had appraised them, and more than they were worth.
But that's just a snapshot at that point in time, and so
but if that snapshot doesn't line up with reality, then it's fraud.
Well, it never does. It never does.
Sure, and that's where the judge has to decide, right? Like what's outside the realistic. Hold on, my friend. We don't cut each other off, okay? That's what the judge's job is, right? Like the judge's job is to decide if it was excessive and if it was to a point where it was on purpose. Basically, they have to prove intent, which it appeared like they had intent in spades. When somebody overvalues a property for a loan application and undervalues it for taxes, and they do that consistently. Remember, these guys are paying quarterly taxes, so quarterly, yearly, year after year for over a decade. They're doing the exact same thing every year. They were able to show a pattern that this is what he does.
How does a statement of financial condition affect your taxes?
Wait, no. This isn't about his taxes, right? This is about his loans.
But you just said they file quarterly taxes. What does that have to do with statement of financial conditions for obtaining a commercial real estate loan?
I said they pay quarterly taxes, and then they pay they have their annual taxes, and that shows where they valued their properties. And on the loan application,
you don't value your properties for your taxes. The county assessor assesses value on your property, and your assessed value.
I'm not talking about for your. I'm not talking about for your property taxes. I'm talking about for all of your, like, for not only your return on, like, your returns on an investment property. Like, you're not. That's going to show up when I sold my investment properties, but on my taxes I had to show returns for my investment properties. That's what you do when you run a business and you have real estate portfolio. You have to pay taxes on that. So if you lower the value of your, if you lower the value,
you pay taxes on your income from your income producing property. You don't pay taxes on a property until you sell it, and then when you sell it, you don't even have to pay taxes on it if you're rolling it over into another investment.
Sure, that can happen. Yeah.
That's what happens.
Wait, but hold on. That has none of this has to do with the case.
Okay, well, but you were the one that brought taxes into it, which is why I said it had nothing to do with this.
I didn't. No. What I said is, if you take his loan documents and you can compare it to his taxes, and that's the reason they did this, is they were showing that he consistently messed with the value of his properties, just depending on what he wanted to get.
But the value on his taxes are not going to have anything to do with the actual value of the property, is what you're not understanding. If it does matter.
No, it doesn't. Because if the number on the taxes, let's say, is 17 million, and you value the property at 130 million, and no realistic assessment has it 130, it has it at like 70. Well, then you're now showing that somebody is, and they're consistently doing that. You're showing fraud.
Okay, well, you're speaking to a commercial lender that's been doing it for like over 20 years, and also commercial real estate owners, and nobody on here.
What does that have to do with anything?
Nobody on here understands the process or how things work.
I don't think you understand what the charge is. The charge is not.
I've read every single court document in this case, including
then you know. Then you know. What is he charged for?
Well, we don't know. Bullshit.
You read it all, but you don't know what he got charged for?
Yeah, we know he got charged.
Okay. Do you need me to explain what he got charged for?
What he got charged for is irrelevant. It's
fraud. He got charged for fraud.
It's not fraud.
It's
Who
fraud.
got hurt?
How's it not fraud? If you intentionally overvalue your assets to acquire loans, that's fraud.
No.
In what world is that not fraud?
That's not how it works. That's not how it works.
In what world is that not fraud?
Everywhere. It's not fraud.
No, you can't lie to obtain funding. That's against the law.
Okay,
even if the bank doesn't figure it out, it's still against the law.
Hold on just a second. Let me talk. Just a second. Hold on. Okay. He may have said it's worth $100 billion.
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever it is. I'm just throwing numbers out there.
That's fraud.
Let me talk.
Okay.
He goes into a bank and he says, I want to borrow money on this property.
Yeah.
The bank says, okay, submit your financial statement of condition and and whatever other supporting documents we need. The bank at that point, if they approve the loan, they are going to order an appraisal, and a licensed appraiser goes out and appraises the property.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He gives in the appraisal is going to be, especially if it's income producing.
Wait, hold on. We can stop right there. It doesn't.
No, we're not stopping.
Wait, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What you're explaining right? No, wait, hold on. Let me explain why. By the way, everybody that says Free Jones in the chat, I just need you to know that's really like disrespectful. I don't go into Jones's live and do that. Me and Jones are friends. I do this one-on-one. Please stop with the Free Jones stuff. Like, can we not do that? Let other people's comments get in. People want to have a discussion down there. It doesn't matter. Because if you lie on the initial documents that you give to the bank, your financial statements, if you lie, that's fraud. It doesn't matter if the bank is too stupid to realize it. It's still fraud.
Okay, but
right? Yeah, that's what he got charged for. So what happened between him and the banks is completely irrelevant to this case. This case is the entire case.
It is literally the entire case.
No, that was not the entire case. You didn't read it then.
I've read the entire case.
Then why were the banks? Wait,
case.
if this was about defrauding the banks, wouldn't the banks be the people suing him and not the state?
Exactly, which is why the banks testified that they didn't lose anything, that they gave him the interest rate that they gave him, and that they would have done it again.
Yeah,
they were actively
actively
trying to get his business in the wealth management division as well. There was a lady that testified that was hired, and the goal of her job was literally to recruit more of Trump's business.
Great, and so all that means is that the bank wanted his business. He's still committed.
And do you know how banks get businesses?
Quiet now. It's my turn now. And it doesn't matter. He committed fraud. This is the state suing him. Do you not think that our government is allowed to enforce laws even if a private business is like, oh, it didn't hurt us?
I don't
you don't understand the law. I understand that you're in commercial lending. I understand that you're in commercial lending, but you apparently don't understand that you can't just commit fraud.
I don't think you understand that this has literally been done every single day by people in my household.
If you're doing this, then you're committing fraud.
No, my husband's a commercial worker.
I said if you're doing this,
people submit their condition of financial standing, and like he said, it's a snapshot in that moment. The bank takes that information and the supporting documents they need, which are also going to include
I understand.
Deposit accounts.
I understand, but this is not about that. This isn't about
this is 100% that.
No, it's not. Or the banks would be suing him. Wait, no.
The problem is that you're not listening.
Why is the state suing and not the bank? Why is the state suing and not the bank?
That is the $1 million question because
it's not. It's a $2 question that you could Google. It's the easiest question. The reason is because it's fraud. That's why.
If you want to Google,
you don't have to have a victim. And the victim is, by the way, hold on.
In 70 years of New York fraud law, how many cases have ever been found guilty of fraud whenever there were no victims or proof of loss,
first of all, loss. So just so you're aware, there definitely are victims here. Even the bank.
There are no victims here.
Okay, well, if I'm gonna let you talk, then hey, you guys have to shut the fuck up when I'm talking. Okay.
I'm helping out. She doesn't really care because she just admitted she commits fraud in her home.
I get it. Yeah. Let me address this though.
Nobody.
Wait, you're still talking. You're still talking. Be quiet. Be quiet. It's not your turn to talk. I know you guys have big feelings. The findings found that the banks missed out on over $100 million in fees. They could have got it, they didn't. But they were defrauded whether they admit it or not, whether they're trying to collect it or not. The taxpayers were also defrauded. And he broke the law. And when you break the law, you don't have to have a victim. If I'm speeding if I'm going 300 miles an hour down the road and I happen to be above the legal limit, I'm going to jail, even if I don't hit anybody. You can't break the law and then say, oh, well, there was no victim. That's not how our laws work, my friends.
Well, you can't accuse somebody of committing fraud whenever you have no idea and wouldn't let us finish the sentence.
I said that the banks are irrelevant, and you guys.
She literally just said we admitted to committing fraud.
I don't care.
I care because that's a huge thing to say against somebody.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. Take up your personal beefs in the DMs. I'm not here to sort out personal beefs. Okay, I'm asking, I just explained to you that it has nothing to do with the banks.
Explain to me how the victims are the people of New York. Explain that to me.
Yeah, because they had a criminal who was acquiring properties and using criminal practices to build their own wealth. It raises the prices in neighboring areas. Because he was also lying on his taxes, he was able to pay. He was paying less taxes, defrauding the government that way. Which, by the way, that's coming too. How many times has Donald Trump been caught not paying his taxes? A bunch. And there's currently another investigation into him for getting I think it was like a $70 million tax return that he's going to have to pay back. Right. So he caused pricing to go up. He caused taxpayers to lose revenue, and he caused the bank to lose revenue because he committed fraud.
Listen, You didn't let him finish the process of obtaining a commercial
I would like you to
loan?
respond to what I said instead of waiting till I stopped and then complaining about something. Can you respond to what I said instead?
You didn't say anything of substance to respond to.
Would you like me to say it again? He was charged with fraud. It doesn't matter if the banks say he was guilty or not. That's not the crime.
How can you sit here and say that the state of New York is saying that Donald Trump committed fraud against a bank, and the bank's saying he didn't commit fraud against us?
They're not saying he committed fraud against a bank. That's where you're wrong. They're saying he committed fraud, not against the bank. Do you think it's legal to file false financial disclosures? Do you think that's legal?
Well, first of all,
is it legal?
financial disclosures,
Wait, is it legal?
none of the appraisals on any of those financial statements are like, they're all just estimates. The judge is going off
some of those
assessed
estimates
value.
are based on inflated numbers and fake numbers that Trump got, like saying his penthouse was 30,000 square feet when it was actually 10,000 square feet.
What would you use?
Is that lawful? Can you?
What would you use as your comp?
Can you report that your home is 3 times bigger than it is?
Okay, that part, yeah. I don't have.
That's fraud,
I don't agree
right?
with that part.
Okay, but that's fraud,
I'm not necessarily saying it's fraud. I'm just saying I don't agree with that part.
If you lie about
what are you going to use?
If you lie about how big your apartment is in order to obtain finances from a bank, that's not fraud?
The assessor, okay.
No, is it fraud or not?
The judge is using county assessor numbers. Okay, no, listen to me.
No, you have to answer the questions that I ask, not the question you wanted me to ask. I'm asking you if that's fraud.
Okay, ask it again, because you're just glossing over the fact that the judge assessed values.
If you lie and you say that your apartment is 3 times bigger than it is, and then you get an assessment based on that, and you submit that value knowing that your apartment is not 30,000 square feet, that it's 10,000, but you submit that to the bank as part of your application to get financing, is that fraud?
That doesn't make any sense, because an appraiser is going to come and an appraiser is going to measure.
Not if you pay off the appraiser.
You can't pay off the appraiser anymore. You can't do that stuff.
Well, then who signed off and said it was 3 times bigger? Then who signed off and said it was 3 times bigger?
Well, apparently, based on the court documents, it was Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr.
Well, it was. Well, they all signed up on multiple disclosures. It wasn't just one disclosure. You understand they all knew they were lying about the size of the apartment, and you are dancing in circles to not admit that that's fraud. That's silly.
Back to my original statement.
You understand
about
that's
the fact
silly,
that
though,
this
right?
Judgment, back to my original question, or my original statement about this judgment being completely based on crazy appraisals for the judge's ruling. Because you were earlier, when you were having your discussion with whatever that guy's name was, you were talking about assessed value, and neither one of you had it correct about how assessed value works. What would you use as your comps for Mar-a-Lago?
I said the assessed value is the government's view of what the value of your property is.
Right.
That's correct.
And do you know how assessed value works with the government? It starts out at purchase price. So whatever you bought it for is where it starts at, and it's only allowed to increase a certain percentage per year.
Right.
Based on
that's when David said it's always very different from the appraisal value, and I said not always, but it can.
It is always very different, because if you're paying close to appraisal. Well, if you're paying close to appraisal value, you need to look back and see how much percentage they raised it and what the laws are in your state for how much percentage a year they can raise it.
But if you buy a house and the value of that house does not rise significantly in 5 years, then the appraisal value is going to stay very close to the value of your house. We're assuming that it was in the last 5 or 10 years when house values were skyrocketing. But there are times when house values can be flat, they can fall.
You can't assume that, because these
I'm
loans
not
go back to
assuming.
2012.
David was assuming. I was saying that sometimes it can be close. I am making zero assumptions. I'm saying sometimes it can be close, sometimes it can be a bigger gap, but it depends on the housing market.
Okay, and did you look at the ruling where he talks about the appraisal? assessed value is based on the purchase price and then it can only go up a certain percentage a year, I will agree on that. But I will agree that most people don't know that, and most people get their assessed value papers in the mail every year where it's gone up and it goes up more than the percentage allowed by the state because they do it every single year. And then you have to go to the courthouse and say, you can't do this, it's against the law. So then they have to lower your assessed value back down every single year. Most people don't know that. So just word of advice, whenever you get your assessed value paper, you need to look and do the math and see how much percentage they raised it, because I guarantee you every single year they're raising your assessed value higher than the law allows, because that's what they do. That's just what they do.
Okay, so but going back to Donald Trump lying about what his real estate was and the value of it, and you
I was
pretending that's not fraud.
And I'm saying that this ruling is it is all over the place when it talks about the appraisals, and
what do you mean?
It even talks about how the appraisal isn't an exact science.
Right.
And
everybody agrees with that. Everybody agrees with that.
Okay. But then he also talks about Mar-a-Lago.
But that's the thing. It's not an exact science. Like, people get different values with the same exact property. But he's not doing real properties. He's making up the size of his properties. He's lying about his properties.
That was one property, and that was
it was multiple properties that he lied about the size of.
The only one I saw was his personal.
Okay, well, let's talk about Mar-a-Lago and how he values Mar-a-Lago, where it's zoned as a social club, and yet he keeps wanting to use residential values for Mar-a-Lago, but it's zoned as a social club. You can't value it as you can't value it. Way less valuable. I'm an owner of a social club. Way less valuable.
Okay.
Yeah.
You think Mar-a-Lago as a social club that's income producing is less valuable than a personal residence?
I don't know how to tell you this, but like those social clubs, they don't produce much. Most of them, and Mar-a-Lago for years has operated at a loss. They don't make a great deal of money.
In the judge's ruling, he goes back and forth between talking about being a personal residence and being a social club.
Because part of Mar-a-Lago is a personal residence, but only that part. And that's why the value isn't 50 to 100 times. Like, if you have a problem with me being accurate, why don't you go talk to Trump, who literally is like, it's 50 to 100 times. It's worth 50 to 100 times more than 18 million.
Because whenever you're talking about a statement of financial condition, it's an estimate. It's an estimate. Yeah, but nobody actually goes every year. 50 to 100 times? 50 to 100 times? Listen,
that's a fair estimate?
Listen. Nobody actually goes and gets an appraisal on a property every year for their statement of financial condition. It's all an estimate all the time.
Okay, but if you lie about the size of that property, does it change the estimate?
Listen.
No, does it? No, you got to start answering questions instead of saying listen. No, does it change?
Because you're not listening.
On a financial document, like we'll keep using the apartment, when you tripled the size of that apartment, did that change what you can value it at?
I mean, that's
come on. This is silly. This is silly.
Listen, the whole point, the whole crux of this case.
You listen. You gotta listen. That was an easy question. If you can't honestly say that tripling the size of your residence to put on a document to go get a loan is not fraud, I don't know what to tell you. Like that's the most obvious.
But look, here's the deal. The bank is gonna order an appraisal on that property if he's getting a loan on that property, and that property wasn't even part of the. Then that's the bank's problem.
It is the bank's problem, and that's why they're not the ones suing, because again, that's the bank's problem. But it's still a crime to do what he did. So that's when the state steps in. It doesn't matter if the bank loved what he did. It didn't matter if none of that matters. You can't lie on financial documents like that. That is a crime. That is fraud. If the bank would have caught it, it would have been fraud. It doesn't matter.
When you sign the paper, what does it say at the very bottom of the paper? What exactly is the wording?
I have no
somewhere
idea
along the line
exactly what the wording is.
To the best of your knowledge and the best of your ability.
Yeah, and they proved that it wasn't to the best of their knowledge or their ability. If it's 3 times the actual size, you can't make an argument that to the best of your knowledge and your ability that
and you don't think that
Donald Trump doesn't know the difference between 10,000 and 30,000?
And you don't think that they might have used the same statement of financial condition for several years in a row, and it could have got put on there?
Absolutely. That's what happened. That's why this is so big, is because not only did they do the crime once, they did it fucking repeatedly. And that's why it was such an easy case to win, and that's why there was no defense.
He's saying that the crime
they showed it once. Like, you did it in 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. You do it every year. You commit fraud every single year.
Using a statement of financial condition when you go to get a loan has absolutely no bearing on the terms of the loan.
We're not talking about
the whole entire case.
No, the case has nothing to do with the actual loan. It has to do with the documentation provided to acquire the loan. And they were fraudulent in that documentation, and that is the crime. And
that is not the only documentation.
And if Deutsche Bank wants to sue Donald Trump, they also can, but they're going to have to prove that they did their due diligence. That would be a different case.
Okay, here's the deal. What you're not understanding is the statement of financial condition.
I'm not understanding.
Doesn't have anything to do with the terms of the loan or anything like that.
You know what it also doesn't have anything to do with? Whether or not you committed fraud, which they did. The statement of financial condition, this is something that, like, Donald Trump has been blowing up your guys' asses because he thinks this is his defense because he's stupid. But it's not a defense, because the statement of financial condition doesn't apply when you're talking about the state charging him and not the bank charging him.
Do you know what
year? It doesn't matter. Wait, it doesn't matter.
Do you know what year the statute was changed?
Of course I don't know that. Why?
It was changed in 2019. Do you know when the investigation into Donald Trump was started?
Which statute?
2019. Here, let me pull it up.
Wait, hold on. I think you're talking about the statute for the E. Jean Carroll case.
Because no, I'm not.
Wait, hold on. The law.
I'm talking about the fraud.
The law. Wait, hold on. The law that they used to prosecute Trump here was written in the 1920s. Somebody in the, I think is it the Allen law?
Hold on.
What was it? Somebody help me with the name of the law that it was. Anybody have it? Jen, do you have it?
I'm getting it right here because I have all of these.
Martin law. Look up the Martin law. That's what he was charged under. Tell me when that was put into place.
It was changed in 2019.
What changed?
I'm getting it right now.
Okay. Oh, so you didn't know?
I do know. I have every single one of his cases.
You just asked me when the law was changed, but you didn't know that was the law?
I cannot, because
what changed?
Because it's this time of night, laying in bed, I can't immediately recall the name of the statute and those exact things without pulling it up. That's somehow a problem. When I've read like countless documents and bills over the last 3 weeks.
You've wasted your time because you read all that and you still think this is the bank versus Donald Trump. You don't even understand the basics of the case. The basics of the case is that nobody is claiming that the bank is the victim here. Like, you don't even understand the case. I don't know what you've been reading.
Yeah, they're using, Okay, hold on. Let me finish pulling this up.
So he changed in 2019, Cuomo signed into law legislation extending the statute of limitations for claims brought under the Martin Act from 3 to 6 years. So it just changed the statute of limitations from 3 to 6 years, which all that did is it allowed these people to prosecute 3 extra years of Trump. It didn't make the lawsuit itself, the charges itself show up, because those charges, like I said, he did this every year, but this added 3 more years that they could prosecute.
Okay, well, these loans they're talking about were from 2012.
And they from 2019, that goes like 6. I think the first loans they had were from 2014, weren't they? Do I have that wrong?
2012.
Okay, well, look, I don't know when the case was introduced. I would assume that the judge didn't. I'm assuming the judge knew. I'm assuming the judge knew what the statute of limitations here is, and I'm sure his ruling fell within the statute of limitations.
Might have been the one where it was put on hold because he was president. That's why Ivanka they were put this case on hold for a period of time while he was president, and why Ivanka wasn't subject to this like the brothers were, with the whole thing. So it was part of the agreement. So they put the statute of limitations on hold while he was in his presidency.
But again, you still aren't answering the fundamental question: is can you lie on financial state or your financial documents? The answer is no. That's fraud. Can you willingly and purposely lie? No. And Donald Trump's CEO admitted that they lied. His sons admitted that he lied. He admitted that they lied. Michael Cohen admitted that they lied. Everybody involved has admitted that they lied. So I'm very confused how people are still defending it.
Whenever you read the judgment, they don't say that they admitted they lied. He says things like they were evasive in this questioning, or they were evasive in that line of questioning.
Oh, well, sure. Yeah, that's fair enough. But when you're like, did you change the value from 10,000 square feet to 30,000? Oh, I don't remember. Did you sign these financial documents? Yeah, I did. Do you read your financial? Yeah, I read my financial documents. Did you sign them? Yeah. Oh, but this one, that's just the one that they forgot to read. Is that one? Is that now the defense? Now the defense is that it was Weisselberg was the real criminal here, and that's who should be paying this fine instead of Trump. Is that the argument?
Yeah, I don't think he should be paying any fines, to be honest with you.
Well, I don't care. You don't seem to understand what he's even charged for. He's charged for fraud, and then there's an exact calculation that they use, and they take from the time the fraud committed and every dollar that they've earned that started with that fraud, they have to give all of that back. That's just how our law works. I'm sorry that you don't like our law.
So you think that a consumer fraud law applies in this case?
A fraud. I don't know exactly what statute they use.
Consumer fraud. It's a consumer fraud statute.
No, this is the state. I don't know if it's a consumer fraud statute or not. I'm not an attorney, but it's fraud. That's what he's charged with. I don't know the exact statute. Do you?
Yeah. Hold on. I'm seeing lawyers. There's lawyers telling me it's not consumer fraud. So I don't know. I know you're in commercial real estate, but it seems like now what you're trying to do is semantic your way out of this. And I just want to hear you one more time say that you think it's okay to lie about the size of your assets. I never said that it was okay to lie about the size of
is it legal then? Let's ask that. Is it legal to lie about the size of your apartment to get business funding or any funding? Is that okay, or is that fraud? It's fraud, isn't it? Yeah, it's fraud.
You can't even answer that because it depends.
Answer what? No, it depends on what?
It depends on a lot of different circumstances.
Like what?
Well, like, did they just accidentally get the wrong number written down for the size of the apartment?
Yeah,
it wasn't even involved in
it. They accidentally increased the size of like multiple properties.
Have you seen the size of his statement of financial condition?
Yeah, I have, but I'm just saying. So now it was an accident.
I'm just saying, what if it was?
Okay, remember, he's a brilliant businessman. Everybody, he went into the Wharton School of Finance. He knows all the best words. He's so smart, but he fucked up his financial statements like all the goddamn time. He just accidentally made things 3 times bigger than they really were. It was an honest mistake, guys. Give him a break. Get the hell out of here. You know that's such a bad argument, right? He committed fraud. Just admit he committed fraud.
Do you know what's required?
You can find a better candidate. It's okay, but just admit.
No, he doesn't.
He committed fraud.
Why is it not letting me highlight this?
He's going to lose all his money. He's probably going to lose some criminal cases coming up. It's not going well for him. I'm sorry. Pick a better candidate next time. Guys, I'm not going to sit here while you Google shit and don't respond to the words that I say. If you're not going to listen to me, take off. But I'm really trying. What did I just say?
I'm really trying to find this. Well, you just told me I needed to find a better candidate, and that you think all these criminal cases are going to go so sideways. Would you like to talk about a different?
And then you just decided
Would you like to talk about a different criminal case?
Anyone you want? Yeah, let's talk about
Which one would you like to talk about?
We could talk about Florida.
Sure, let's do that.
Yeah. Remember that one time Donald Trump took a bunch of documents and then our government asked for them back and he refused, and then he gave some back and said these are all of them, and then he took the boxes that were requested of him, and then they realized I wasn't done yet. I know that it's hard for you to wait for other people to finish, but this time you can do it, okay? Remember that one time he repeatedly lied to NARA about having documents, And then finally we had to get the FBI involved, and they asked for the documents. He's like, no. And then they went down, they got some of them, and then turns out they still hadn't given them all. Then they wound up having to raid his place. And then after they raided him, they were able to subpoena like cell phones from people that were working with him, like Walt Nauta, who's his bag man. And we found all these texts from Walt Nauta, like, hey, make sure you move these boxes. There's people coming to check it out. And hey, what are these boxes tipped over on the floor with classified documents just sitting in an open bathroom? Hey, why are all these boxes up on a stage right now where anybody could see them and they have classified documents in them? And then Jack Smith took all of their text messages, which just like prove that they were hiding boxes, and he put them all together in an indictment. Do you remember that one?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, but you're missing a whole lot of steps in between all.
What steps am I missing?
Well, the FBI going down there and checking everything out and telling him he needed to put the locks on here.
I said that already. I said the FBI came once and they got some and they gave instructions and they thought that they had everything that they had been promised, and then they got back and realized that they still didn't have all the documents they were supposed to.
Because they were looking for something specific that they couldn't find that was handed over to the DOJ.
All the documents. No, all the documents. See, NARA is the group responsible for the documents. The government doesn't own those. Donald Trump doesn't own those. You and I own those.
Okay,
I was almost done. And the organization responsible to you and I in making sure that they preserve these documents is NARA. And NARA is not like a law enforcement arm. So when people don't cooperate with NARA, you have to involve the FBI. The FBI would never be involved unless NARA needed them to be involved.
Unless they were looking for something specific.
Well, they were looking for specific. They knew some things that he had for sure. They knew some of the stuff they were looking for. Yeah, they didn't know everything.
So what do you think they were looking for?
Classified documents. Like
the documents that he declassified January 19th?
Well, he didn't though. That's the problem.
Oh, but he did.
Well, he didn't.
I've seen.
The problem is if you go through the documents there, they're not declassified. They've already checked. In fact, Donald Trump is on an audio recording holding one, talking to two women, and he's like, "Yeah, check this out. I could have declassified this when I was president, but I didn't."
That's not the one I'm talking about.
Wait. Can he do it ever? Which one are you talking about that he declassified that he's being charged with?
How long after a president leaves office, when he's packing his stuff and leaving office, what is the standard practice? Does the White House does NARA secure a location for them to take the documents so that they can have time to sort through them, and they give them time to go through everything in a secure location? Is that standard practice?
Yeah.
Why didn't that happen with Trump? Why wouldn't they secure a location for Trump?
Well, I think they determined that Mar-a-Lago was not a safe place.
They refused to secure a place for Trump.
No, it's not their job to secure the existing property. It's their responsibility. Like, they help you get a secure location. They don't take your location and secure it. See, you want so badly for this guy to be innocent that you're willing to believe like the craziest shit just so that he can be innocent. Why?
I don't believe the craziest shit.
You believed that.
I'm literally looking for the paper that was signed showing those documents that they're looking for were declassified.
First of all, that doesn't exist. You can look for it all you want, but like, do you really think that the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago and then Jack Smith wrote up all these charges and they actually have the documents and they're just lying? That's what you're saying? That
the last time the documents were seen, Mark Meadows was leaving the White House with them and took them directly to the DOJ.
Now let's see if there's some things that you maybe don't know. If you declassified the documents, do you own them?
I mean,
no.
I would assume
who owns the documents? Who
handed over to John Solomon, and John Solomon went to make copies, and then the White House called back and said,
the answer is no. Don't answer a question. Don't answer a question I'm not asking. The answer to that is no. We still own the documents, and we can request them at any time through NARA. NARA is the one that's responsible for that. The presidents don't own the documents. And furthermore, yeah, you can't copy top secret documents. But if you've read the indictment, which you say you love reading, so obviously you've read this indictment from Jack Smith, you know specifically that what he's actually being charged for is all of the crimes of covering it up. He's not even being charged for having the documents. He's charged for breaking the law repeatedly while they tried to get the documents back. That's what he's being charged for. But because you guys want to believe so badly that he is innocent, you're now making a case for a charge that isn't there. You guys you never even know what he's actually being charged with. You didn't know in New York, you don't know in Florida. You just literally listen to what this guy and other Republicans say, and you're like, oh, that must be true. And then you just roll with it.
Yeah.
Remember that one time I asked you to respond to me instead of Googling?
Well, I'm really trying to find these documents. I have so many.
But it doesn't matter. I just explained that it doesn't matter if he declassified anything. He still can't have them. He still has to give them back.
So you're saying that he's declassified on January 19th and was having copied to be released to the media first thing on the morning of January 20th, 2021?
Yes, the original documents he does not own. And so if they ask for the original documents back, he is required to give them. And again, his charge is not that he had documents that were classified. That's not the charge. The charge is all about the cover-up. It's about obstructing. It's about lying. And some of it's about not securing it. Maybe some of the charges eventually could be about showing classified documents to people without security clearance, which it sure as shit sounded like he did on that audio recording in Bedminster. I mean, either he was just lying about the paper that he was showing those women to impress them, or he really had a piece of classified, top secret classified document that he was showing them. One of those two things happened.
Well, or he could have just been holding it and flipping through it and saying this in my hand, blah, 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 as opposed to reading it out loud to your ghostwriter.
Where can you have a classified document open like that? Are there any rules and regulations for when you can have it open? And again, that's not a charge either. That's also not one of his charges. But it goes to show that he was pretty flippant when it came to classified documents. This guy that you guys, both of you are smart, and you're too smart to believe such a dumb person. And I know that emotionally we get connected to candidates, and it gets hard. I know that at one point it looked like Donald Trump was just a victim, but the truth is he's not. Almost everything he's been accused of, he actually did. The evidence of it is overwhelming, and you guys are just living your lives as if everybody's out to get Donald Trump, and we're really after you and the conservative movement. But we're not. He's just a criminal. If you guys put up Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis, you know what what wouldn't happen? They wouldn't have been charged in the fraud trial in New York. They wouldn't have been charged in the classified documents. You know how I know that? Because nobody's ever done those things. No sitting president or former president has ever done those things. Donald Trump is uniquely a criminal. And you guys just think this is about us being biased. When the evidence is presented, you're like, I don't like evidence.
So you're saying that had he not run for president, he would have never been charged with any of these things?
I think you could make a pretty good argument that if he hadn't run for president and bragged about not paying his taxes, and lied about specifically the Stormy Daniels thing, that was a big mistake for him. You realize that, but because he lied about Stormy Daniels, that involved his lawyer, Michael Cohen. And Michael Cohen eventually was caught. He was cornered lying for Donald Trump. And he's like, all right, fine, I'll work with you guys. That's what happened. If Donald Trump wouldn't have run for president and started lying, his lawyer wouldn't have been involved. It's likely. I think it's pretty likely that he would not have been taken down. But what you guys lean on is he's taken down because he was president. Well, no, every DA in the world would love to prosecute a attorney general or DA. Everybody would love to have a slam dunk case against a former president. That makes you famous for the rest of your life. That, like, if you're an AG or a DA, your career's elevated. So of course those people are excited when they get a case like this. But this all started by Donald Trump paying off a porn star, doing a catch and kill with the Washington Examiner or whatever they are, and then Stormy Daniels just saying, you know what, I don't give a shit about this NDA. I'm going to tell people about it anyways. And then Trump lied. He just lied about trying to pay her off. That's what got him in trouble. So yeah, maybe he wouldn't have been charged if he wasn't president.
Yeah. So you don't feel like this is in any way election interference?
No, because he committed the crime. Like just because somebody's guilty of a crime doesn't mean that you can't charge them. Who cares? Like, imagine if that's your honest answer. Like, if you can't charge somebody because they're running for president, everybody before they got caught would just say they're running for president. As the walls are closing in, every criminal will be like, I'm running for president. They're coming after me. Why do you think Donald Trump, no presidential candidate in the history of our country has ever announced 3 years before the election that they were running for re-election? Why do you think he did that? You don't think it's possible that he wanted to be able to make that argument? It's 100%. That's what he wanted, because he's making that argument in court.
To be honest with you,
he's making the argument in court that because he's running for president, you should have to delay this until after the election or after he's president. What a convenient thing for.
To be honest with you, I think I'm glad that these cases are going forward, because I feel like a whole lot is going to come out from these cases.
Like what?
On all of the things that have been going on.
Like
just
what?
like you have no idea, about the documents that I'm talking about that the FBI are actively searching for because they think he has copies of.
Are you talking about that binder? Are you talking about
100%? I'm talking about that binder.
Okay, well,
that binder is huge.
Okay, well, that has nothing to do with this case.
That has 100% to do with this
No,
case.
that is a conspiracy theory. You have no. First of all,
okay.
Wait, hold on. You have no evidence that binder even fucking exists. There's only one source, and one source only, and it's one guy.
Okay.
And he says it exists. That's the only source.
I guess you know nothing about Solomon v. Garland.
So you found out about this binder now.
No,
like,
I've known about this binder since 2021.
Why don't you just look at the evidence in front of you and stop looking for conspiracy theories to change?
Nobody's looking for conspiracy theories. There are actual lawsuits going on about this. They've released, okay, here, I actually know where that bookmark is.
You don't know if the binder exists.
Why don't you go to the FBI vault? Why don't you get on the FBI? Get on your computer, get on the FBI vault, and put in Operation Crossfire Hurricane.
Hold on.
Yeah, I do. I've read the document. I've read the redacted.
So many people. Wait, hold on. Do you know if the binder exists?
I 100% know that the binder exists.
No, you don't. That's a lie. You're lying. You don't know.
Oh my God,
No.
you can go to the FBI vault.
You know that Crossfire Hurricane exists.
I know that
You don't know if this binder exists.
You can actually look at the fucking redacted documents, the few pages that they've released of the redacted documents.
That this binder exists? Do the documents say there's a binder? An orange
there is
binder?
A binder. There is a whole binder. Have you read any of the testimony from any of this? Actually, the testimony for this is in the
I asked you a very specific question, SK.
Yes, I know for a fact it exists.
Wait, what's your evidence?
Look up.
No, not look up. What's your evidence? Just tell me the evidence.
Okay, well, there's the testimony from Mark Meadows' assistant.
Does that prove that it exists?
You have to go. Yeah.
How?
She talks about it in her testimony.
One person saying something exists is evidence?
Not just one person. There's whole lawsuits about this. There's Solomon v. Garland. There's Cash Patel against the DOJ in several different cases.
That doesn't. And have any of them conceded that this binder exists?
There's been FOIA requests filled. You can go to the FBI vault.
With all due respect, all you're saying, you're just naming a bunch of accusations as if that means this exists.
There are actual cases with discovery.
Hold on. Just hear me out. Because this is the problem we have in this country, is that people think what they believe is just fact. And what you're saying is not fact. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I'm saying it's stupid for you to say, I know 100% it exists. You hope it exists.
I do know 100% it exists. I've seen it.
Nobody knows that. Literally nobody knows that.
You can go on the FBI vault and look at it. Look right here. FBI records, the vault. Click on it.
It says, and what does it say?
Operation Crossfire Hurricane Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, Part 5.
Do you understand we're not in the same place right now and I can't see what you're saying?
Okay, hold on. Let me turn my camera on.
Now, just to be clear, this evidence is going to show that there is an orange binder, and that orange binder also was at Mar-a-Lago, and that's what the FBI is looking for, right?
The FBI is looking for the copies because on January 19th,
what they were looking for at Mar-a-Lago, right?
Right. That's 100% what they were looking for at Mar-a-Lago.
Okay. So first of all, let's just be clear. There is plenty of people who have mentioned this binder. We still don't know if it exists. I think it's probably likely that it does exist. Okay. I actually agree with you that it probably does. But don't say things like you 100% know when you don't, because then it makes it really hard to have a conversation. But if this binder exists, and this was about this binder is supposed to be about declassified information regarding the origins of Trump, people spying on Trump. They named like 26 different people of the Trump organization or the Trump campaign team that they gave bump orders to, which is essentially like between the Five Eyes, which is us, Canada, the UK, New Zealand, and Australia, that we work together, and they would set up these encounters with people like Carter Page to try and like bait them into becoming a source or tricking them into saying something that would allow them to be surveilled. And Donald Trump on January 19th supposedly said, I want all this declassified. I think it was a day or two before he left. Declassified all of this stuff that's supposedly in the orange binder. Right? And he said that it should be classified. The conspiracy theory now is coming in when you're saying that this binder was what they were looking for at Mar-a-Lago. Maybe, maybe not. But even if it was, he's still not allowed to have it. Because you know what also happened after Trump left? He lost his security clearance. It was taken from him. So if there's anything not classified, he's not allowed to look at it.
Okay, and how many presidents are stripped of their Q level clearance when they leave office? How many years?
Wait. Okay, so you're QAnon, which is silly.
I don't even know what that is.
Fucking shit.
I have never one time looked at QAnon.
You're QAnon. Yeah, this is what you guys all say.
Because I've been reading documents that talk about Q-level clearance.
Listen, you're saying Q-level clearance like that's the top clearance. It's not. That's what QAnons believe. You're repeating. I don't have anything. You might not know you're QAnon, but you are, which is why now you're believing a conspiracy. Now, if Donald Trump had that document in Mar-a-Lago, is he allowed to keep it?
Well, if he declassified it on January 19th and was getting ready to release it to the media, I have no idea why it is he wouldn't be allowed to keep it.
Because if NARA says give it back to us, you have to.
They did. They gave it back to the DOJ. Mark Meadows took it directly to the DOJ.
This orange binder?
Yeah, took it directly back to the DOJ after John Solomon had it making copies.
Wait, hold on. The FBI raided Mar-a-Lago, then gave the binder to Mark Meadows, and then Mark Meadows turned it over to the DOJ?
No. On January 19th,
how did Mark Meadows get it?
Trump declassified it.
How did Mark Meadows get it?
And the FBI went through and made some redactions before they were going to allow it to be released.
How did Mark Meadows get the orange binder?
It's 2,700 pages, by the way.
How did Mark Meadows get the orange binder?
Because it was brought back to the White House because Bill Barr picked up the phone after John Solomon left the White House.
Who brought it back to the White House?
John Solomon brought it back to the White House because he left with it to make copies.
Where did he have it before he got to the White House?
He had it at Georgetown.
Okay, cool. So what does this have to do with the Mar-a-Lago raid?
Okay, because
they already have it. They have it in January of 2021. Because they raid Mar-a-Lago in 2023 for something that they already have in their possession.
Because something that was so important that was handed over to the DOJ mysteriously then went missing. And whenever Kash Patel with his TSCI or whatever clearance he has went to NARA and said, I want to view these. I have this document. I've been approved to look at these documents. And they said, you don't have your clearance. And he said, yeah, get on your computer and pull it up. I do have clearance. So they get on and they pull it up and they're like, oh, wait, yeah, you do.
Yeah, and then
mysteriously they can't find it.
How did it get to Mar-a-Lago? I don't care about your story.
Here, hold on real fast. So I have to go to get some more tinfoil for my new hat. So I'm going to drop out, but I was going to run to the store, get some more tinfoil. Let me know if anyone needs some.
Yeah,
and maybe a new trapper keeper for this binder.
Thank you, Jen.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay, I need you to, SK, you don't get to just ramble. When I ask a question, just please answer the question. Are you now saying that after this box or this binder disappeared, it made its way back to Mar-a-Lago? The FBI raided Mar-a-Lago. Oh, did she leave? Oh, did you bounce her?
Purpose. I not on purpose. If I did, I was trying to leave myself. If I did, it wasn't on. If it.
SK, if you got dropped, come back. If you ran, you ran.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to drop. If I did it, I'm still here. I was trying to leave, so that was my bad.
That makes sense. You might have dropped her.
Sorry, that was my bad. I didn't mean to. That was accident.
No worries.
Bye.
Bye.
I'll leave now for real.
I don't see SK in here anymore. Oh, there they are. Sorry about that. We're not the most technologically advanced group.
They're clearly, because I'm going through my bookmarks to find these things. But to be honest with you, I swear on everything holy, I've never read anything related to QAnon. I am not one of those crazy ass, right? I'm actually...
Well, QAnon is literally just like a bunch
I've heard about it, but I've never...
You don't... Listen, you can be QAnon and not know that you're QAnon. But you're repeating a lot of QAnon stuff. That's all I'm saying.
Because I've read these documents and read these things in the documents.
Well, what your reading of this document doesn't make any sense. Like, why did the FBI, how did it then go from mysteriously missing to Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago house? And then if that's the case, then wouldn't the FBI be justified in raiding his house?
I don't think so. Not if he declassified a document that was meant to be released to the public.
But who owns the document? Who owns the document?
Well, Nara does.
Yeah,
but here's the thing: Nara is not allowing anyone
if he didn't give it back to them, and they asked for it,
they gave it back. But they mysteriously.
Wait, then why did they raid? Wait, why did they raid if they gave it back?
Exactly my point.
Wait, no. So what about all the classified documents they found that they had been asking for that they found when they raided? What about all those? You don't think that's a more likely explanation that they just raided Mar-a-Lago to get all those documents that they did find? You're willing to say, I don't know why they did this thing where they had documents they needed to find and they found them and brought them back. What really happened is they wanted this other thing and they got it and then they raided.
No, what I'm saying is people were given access, written permission to have access to these documents. And whenever they've gone to try and get these documents, NARA and the DOJ say, I'm sorry, we don't know where they are.
Okay, but we're not talking about that. We're asking why the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago after they had supposedly been given this binder. Why did they raid and you're willing to believe they raided Mar-a-Lago for what reason then? Why did they raid Mar-a-Lago?
Well, I feel like they're looking for something specific, and if I were to guess what that specific thing would be for,
you know what they were looking at that was specific? If you had read the indictment, you would see there were pictures that Walt Nauta sent to other people, or other people sent to him, of boxes of classified documents sitting out in the open.
Yeah,
and the FBI was able to get some of that information. So they knew what they were looking for because they already knew what had not been given back by NARA, and they had some of the evidence of the documents that were there. So they raided to get all those things, and they found all those things. But now you're saying it was just like a staged raid? Like, this is why I say it sounds QAnon-y. Because,
no, I'm not saying it was
what you're saying makes no fucking sense.
Right? No, I'm not saying it was staged. I'm saying the whole premise. Have you read the information that they used in order to obtain the search warrant for Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah, I'm citing it. Repeatedly.
Okay, well, one of the things that's even cited in there is an interview by Kash Patel with Breitbart or some bullshit article.
Wait, hold on. You just referenced Kash Patel 5 minutes ago as a reason for why this binder exists. And now the guy that you said testified that this binder exists is not credible?
Which is that's not what I said. That's not what I said. I'm talking about the information. I'm talking about the information.
You just said Kash Patel has said this binder existed, and that they aren't giving it up.
The binder exists. There's a whole lawsuit over it. It's called Solomon v. Garland.
Okay, so
if you want to look it up.
why is he a good source when it fits your narrative, but when it doesn't fit your narrative,
he wasn't a good
source?
Why is he a bad
source on this?
You just told me that I was QAnon because
You're changing the subject. No, I need you to explain. No.
And I said,
don't run away. No. We're staying on subject. I need you to explain to me why. I need you to explain to me why suddenly Kash Patel, somebody who is like Trump's right hand man and who's at Mar-a-Lago all the time,
and the chief of staff under Christopher Miller.
Yeah, and why is that guy not a good source?
I didn't say he was a good source. I said in the search warrant, in the information that they used to obtain a search warrant, they reference an interview with Kash Patel to, I said, some news source like Breitbart or some bullshit place is what I said. I wasn't talking about Kash Patel. I was talking about some bullshit.
You can take, that's substantial. If you take an interview that Kash Patel had with Breitbart, and it corroborates other people's stories, that's absolutely good evidence. Okay, what's wrong with that evidence? You think Kash Patel was Kash Patel was lying? Do you have evidence that Kash Patel lied about that?
No, listen.
Okay, then what are you saying?
What you told me is that I'm QAnon because I mentioned Crossfire Hurricane and Kash Patel when they literally used.
No, I said wait, hold on. I said you're QAnon because you said Q level clearance. That's why I said you're QAnon, because of the Q level clearance. Don't change it.
Well, it's written in the documents. It's literally written in the court documents about Q level clearance.
Yeah, Q level clearance exists. It's not the highest level of clearance.
So just because I said Q level clearance doesn't mean that I'm QAnon. I said you
were referencing Q level concern. You were saying Q level clearance as if it was the top, like it was the most top secret clearance. That's what you said.
I said that they pulled his Q level clearance.
Whose?
Donald Trump.
Yeah. And you meant, be honest right now. You know
that's exactly what I meant.
I know, but you thought that was the highest level. No, you didn't think that was the highest level? That's not it. That's not at all what I said. No, I'm asking you. I'm not asking you what you said. I'm asking you what you mean right now. Are you saying, you're saying at that moment you didn't think Q was the highest level of clearance?
I don't have any idea what.
Okay, fine. You're not QAnon. You're not QAnon. Let's go back to this. Let's go back to when you said like Kash Patel, because he did an interview with Breitbart. Why that's not admissible evidence? Why is that not admissible?
I didn't say that. I'm going to
what are you saying?
Pull up the information used to obtain the search warrant at Mar-a-Lago.
Okay.
Because I found this the other day and I thought I had it bookmarked. But again, not technologically advanced. We all make mistakes, and I'm having a hard time finding the bookmark. I mean, I'm not going to sit here. This is the first time I've ever debated in a Democrat live, by the way.
Oh, welcome.
I just started doing political debates like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I've done it like maybe 10 times, and it's all been in Republican lives. So,
welcome to hell. It's nice to have you here.
Yeah, so I'm not trying to be like combative, or I'm just not exactly as prepared as I should be because, like I said, I'm new at this.
You're fine. I'm just saying, I'm looking at the. Are you looking at the? Hold on, real quick. Are you looking at the case, the search warrant for
Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah,
and the sealing order, and then it was unsealed.
Which one? 22 MJ.
And then it was unsealed. Yeah, hold on. Let me see at the top. Well, yeah, 22 MJ 8332, whatever.
Yeah. Okay,
it's the very beginning. It's the very beginning, and the motion to seal, and then it was unsealed, so you're able to see the sealing order, and then you're able to see what was the application for a warrant.
Yeah, and the basis for the search under federal crime
right.
P41 is check one or more evidence of a crime, contraband, fruits of crime, or other items illegally possessed.
Right.
And then we've got the attached and what. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it talks about what they're using, and it talks about that 15 boxes of records. Here and after the 15 boxes is how it's referred to. talks about the premises, and after an initial review of the NARA referral, the FBI opened a criminal investigation, blah, 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 blah. The premises were authorized locations for storage of classified information, determine whether any additional classified documents or records may have been stored, blah, 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 blah. Again, the 15 boxes.
That's just the first, you understand that's just the first time they dealt with NARA, right? That's what the 15 boxes is. That's the first time they returned. That. And you understand that those 15 boxes were not the totality of what they had been, that NARA had asked for, right?
Right.
And you understand that Donald Trump instructed his attorneys multiple times to tell them that that they didn't have them, right? Even though they did. Okay.
Right.
You understand all of that is a crime, right?
And they use the pictures, and they say, well, this is this picture.
Can you instruct your attorneys to lie about having documents? Can you instruct your attorneys to lie to NARA or the DOJ or the FBI that you've given back everything when you know you haven't?
Well,
or is that a crime?
Where does it say that he instructed anyone to lie?
Well, that's in the indictment. So if you go read the indictment from Jack Smith, you have text messages between and testimony from his attorney and a sworn letter from his attorney that Donald Trump said that they gave everything back. But the problem is after that sworn statement by their attorney, there are multiple text messages showing that they are now moving boxes and they are aware that they still have boxes and they're putting them in new places, including loading them onto the plane and going to Bedminster, which went later on. We hear him on a recording at Bedminster holding apparently a classified document and bragging about it.
And when you're instructed
you understand all of those things are crimes, right?
And when you're instructed
to go through... Wait, but hold on. Before we go there, do you understand all of the things I just mentioned are crimes?
Yeah, in an indictment.
Okay, so then what's your then why are you concerned? So then why can't the FBI raid then? You just admitted that he committed multiple crimes, hiding documents, and you still think that they shouldn't raid and go get those documents?
But they also use a picture, that picture you were referring to, in order to obtain the search warrant. And they talk about the boxes being moved around and gone through. But that's after they had provided him with a list of things that they were looking for that they wanted him to return.
Which picture are you talking about?
Boxes we're going to have to go through. On page 16, there's that picture of all the boxes along the
storage room?
The storage room, yeah.
Yeah.
And they talk about how the boxes had been moved around after they went. The boxes had been moved around, but that's because they had asked him for certain documents, so they had to go through boxes to find documents.
Right.
Yeah,
okay, but that doesn't change. Wait. Yeah, I agree with that. You're just saying stuff that you've read, but all those other things I already mentioned were crimes. So you've already admitted that he committed crimes. So of course the FBI is allowed to be there. Like what else do we need to go through here?
You called me QAnon because
I've already said you're not QAnon.
On number 53, stop going back to that. I'm aware of an article published in Breitbart.
Stop going back to that. I've already said you're not QAnon. We've addressed that. That's boring.
Okay,
let's address this. You admitted that he committed crimes. If you commit crimes and you're hiding documents from the FBI, do you not think the FBI should raid them?
I think that they should have given him time to be able to go through everything and return the things that they were asking for.
When did they raid him?
Well, this says on June 8th, 2022, DOJ counsel sent the other counsel a letter, again, authorized the store classified information and requested the preservation of storage room, and they were asking for certain documents back. So of course boxes were being moved.
He'd had a year and a half. He'd had a year and a half with those documents. How much time does he need?
Well, there's a lot of documents in there.
There is a lot of documents, and he also has a lot of staff. And he could have had NARA come, just like Joe Biden and Mike Pence did. They had NARA come go through the boxes and take what they needed. That's all he really needed to do, was give access to those boxes to NARA. Now, I understand he says there's some personal stuff in there, so he didn't want NARA going through that, and that's fair. That's a fair ask of him. But that doesn't give you then 18 months, and then also lying about giving the documents back. During those 18 months, he lied multiple times. Yeah, I gave them all back, but we know he didn't, and we know that he knew he didn't. These are all crimes. I'm telling you, look, I was a conservative not that long ago. And let me just tell you the difference between then and now. Then, if anybody got dunked on this bad, and if there was all this evidence against somebody like this, the GOP would abandon them. But you guys have all decided you're all in on Donald Trump, and you don't care. You just are so hopeful that at some point, he's going to bring up this magical evidence that makes all of his crimes okay. It's not going to be okay. This guy's just a fucking moron criminal. And he's convinced all of you smart people that he's really smart. And he's not. He's remarkably dumb. Very, very dumb. And you guys don't look great by continuing to follow it. Like, you're arguing that the former president committed crimes, but he shouldn't have been raided. What do you want me to do with that?
Here's my stance. If you want my overall stance on this whole thing, not just this case or that case or this incident or that incident, my whole stance.
Before you get to that, I just need you to understand that my main problem with MAGA in general is that when we talk about specifics, what they do when they lose the argument is they retreat to, listen, this isn't the only thing. There's a million things. But I'm telling you, SK, and I'll give you the invitation. If we talked every day, you would lose every day. And it's not because you're not smart, because clearly you are. It's because you're believing liars, provable liars. And so you won't win any of these arguments. If we did this every single day, you would be wrong. And I'm confident in that because I know that Donald Trump is lying. He does it all the time. You guys have to be better than this. You guys have to, at some point, admit that you got duped. Swallow your pride. Put somebody else up, not this guy. There's no defense for this guy.
Can I tell you my overall position?
Yeah, go ahead. That's fair.
My overall position between left and right and why it is that I'll stand on the right. Like I said, I'm moderate. I'm not like far right. When I take that little test with the boxes, I'm like 2 steps to the right and down to libertarian. I am not like an extremist at all. My whole stance in this is that if you look at everything that's going on, all of the court cases and everything, all of the court cases that are pushing to maintain our constitutional rights are funded by the right, and all of the ones that are taking away our rights.
That is nonsense.
Well, like Missouri,
what? Give me an example.
Like Missouri v. Biden.
Okay, what's Missouri v. Biden?
Well, that's where the 3-letter agencies coerced social media companies to suppress information.
Okay, that's the dumbest. Yeah. So what did they do? What did the 3-letter agencies do?
Well, they coerced social media companies by using Section 230 as leverage.
No, how did they do it specifically? How did they do it?
Well, in one specific instance with the case in Missouri v. Biden, with the information about COVID, with the information about Hunter Biden's laptop, all of those things, going to Amazon and having them suppress search results for the Constitution.
Wait, but hold on. Now let's discuss what they did. What did they actually do? They literally went to the social. And did what?
They went to the social media companies and told them there's going to be Russian disinformation coming out. You need to suppress it.
Let's cover what they really said about that. What were their exact words?
Okay, well, let me pull the case up.
Well, I can just tell you. They said that there's a story coming out about Hunter Biden's laptop, and it has all the earmarks of Russian disinformation. That's it. That's all they said. That's what the left said. And hold on.
In the summer of 2020, when they had possession of the laptop in December of 2019.
But hold on. The FBI had a laptop, right? Hold on. The information that came out, where did that information come from? From the contents of Hunter Biden's laptop. Where did that information come from?
Hunter Biden's laptop.
Where did they get that?
To the best of my knowledge, came from the guy who was doing the repair on the laptop.
Okay, so the Washington, I think it was the Washington Post who put up that story. It might have been New York Post. I can't remember which one. One of them. They got that story, and they got that story from Rudy Giuliani on an external hard drive that had been copied from Hunter Biden's original laptop. However, there were edits made on that hard drive that post-dated when they gave the laptop to the FBI. So the problem that they had with that story is that the source, they had one source, and it was Rudy Giuliani and his hard drive, and they could not confirm that anything on that hard drive was one, on Hunter Biden's laptop, or two, at the time, I don't think they had even announced that they had the laptop. So that story that came out was a single source from the president's attorney, who is the most possible biased person you could have, and it was a single source. That story shouldn't have been published, right? Until they had a second source. What happened? 24 hours later, they had a second source. And the original author of that Washington Post article said, take my name off. Do not publish this with my name on it. Before it went, he said, we don't have two sources. This is not news. This is not good journalism. Take my name off. And so it was like his editor, whose name actually appears on the actual article, he refused to do it because he said, this isn't good journalism.
So
that story was suppressed for 24 hours. That's it.
Let's get off the Hunter Biden laptop, because I'm looking at a broader picture than just the Hunter Biden laptop. I'm looking at the whole entire case. The whole entire case is that it wasn't just Hunter Biden's laptop. It was COVID information. They went to Amazon. You were put on a list if you bought a Constitution or religious materials or herbal remedy.
No, absolutely.
It is literally in
Show me the proof that you were. Show me the proof that you were put on a list if you bought religious materials or a Constitution. Show me that.
Okay, I'll do it because it's in the FOIA request.
Listen, I'm going to give you some advice. I know you're new debating this, but if something sounds insane, it's probably not insane. True.
All you have to do is look up Missouri v. Biden, and actually now I think it's McMurphy or something like that. Murphy v. Missouri. Originally filed as Missouri v. Biden. And I have the actual case documents and the FOIA request bookmarked somewhere. But once again, back
you understand a FOIA request will never be good evidence for anything, right? A FOIA. Let me explain.
Documents, not an accurate source.
FOIA means freedom of information. I can request that the government give me all the information they have on who won the fight between Godzilla and King Kong. I can make that request. I can do a FOIA request for that.
And then they're filled. The information is released from the FBI.
So that's why a request is not good information. That's all I'm saying.
They're filled.
If you're going to bring up information, don't make it a FOIA request. You can request anything.
It's a filled FOIA request.
What's the filled FOIA request from Murphy?
Well, it's all of the emails within all the social media companies, including Amazon and Facebook Amazon, and Reddit.
And they asked for a list of anybody who bought a Constitution.
Yeah, you were literally put on a list if you bought a Constitution.
Cite that source. That's what I'm looking for. No.
Okay, well, I'm looking for it right now. You got to give me a second. If I'm talking and typing at the same time trying to find these things, it's not the greatest at this hour of the night. I promise you I do.
I mean, I believe you. I mean, I believe you've heard this. Let me be clear.
No, I have read it. I've looked at it. I have it bookmarked somewhere.
All right. Well, I'm ready for that. I can't even come up with a search crazy enough to find this information. Did Amazon give a list of people who bought the Constitution? Q has it. I can't even find, I don't even know what to search. It's
because you have to search the case and the discovery in the case. You have to actually look at case documents and discovery.
Just nobody reported on this? Just nobody?
No, it's really not being reported on.
I think it might not be true.
Okay, well, I'll find it. And if it is really late and I'm really tired, so I'm having a really hard time. My computer is even getting blurry. You understand
that if this was a real story, this would be Fox would never shut the fuck up about this. Trump would never shut up about this. Republicans would never shut up about
There's
this.
a whole list
You
of
think you're the
Republicans
only
on that
one that
lawsuit
read
now.
this? Is that like, come on?
I'm not saying I'm the only one that's read this. I'm saying
why is
there's a whole
nobody
list of
reporting on it?
Republicans on the lawsuit now. It's a whole list of Republicans
why
on the
is
lawsuit.
nobody-
It's in the Supreme Court.
I understand, but like, why is nobody reporting on this accusation that Amazon gave a list to the U.S. government of everybody who bought a Constitution? By the way, I regularly talk to Republicans, and I was a Republican for a long time. You guys don't give a fuck about the Constitution, and nobody really understands the Constitution.
I have a physical copy of the Constitution.
I do too. And you are openly supporting a man who is running on a platform to fundamentally change the balance of powers granted by the Constitution. He wants to elevate the executive branch above the judicial and legislature. So don't tell me that you guys are the Constitutional Party. You don't care about the Constitution, not one bit. It's just convenient for you when you want to keep your guns, and it's convenient for Republicans when they want to say bigoted things. So they like the First Amendment when they're allowed to say bigoted things. They like the Second Amendment when they're allowed to keep their guns. But like everything else, they don't give a shit.
That's not true at all.
Okay, well then explain to me how you're voting for a man who wants to elevate the executive branch over the judicial and legislative branches. Explain that.
I don't. I think there needs to be a balance of power.
Well, I didn't ask what your opinion was. I said, why are you supporting a man who wants to elevate the executive branch over them? I'm not asking your opinion. I'm asking why you're supporting him.
Why do you think he wants to elevate
because he put this thing called Agenda 47 on his website, and there's a thing called Project 2025, which he basically copy and pasted from. And you probably haven't read either of those.
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, maybe, so don't you, it is crazy that you've read all these cases. But you haven't read the candidate you're voting for's policies that he's running on? You don't know what he's running on, but you read all these other things?
Let me give you
some more free advice. And this sucks. This is what sucked when I was a Republican. I left in 2015 because I knew that a lot of the things Donald Trump was saying just weren't true. And it made me really nervous that a bunch of people who I thought were smart were just wholesale endorsing somebody who was obviously lying about things, right? So then I left and I became a libertarian. I was like, I'm like a moderate, I'm a libertarian. And then after I had left the Republican Party and I had the benefit of not worshiping Donald Trump, I was able to have discussions with people based on the facts. And based on the facts, I started getting dusted in like every single argument. I'm on the left now because I got dominated every time I would try and debate a person who knew their shit. That's the problem that you have. You don't even know what your candidate stands for. You just really want him to win.
No, the reason you ask why it is I've read all these cases and all of these things is because I care about our constitutional rights. And I find it funny when I do campaign research.
Wait, then why don't you care why don't you care what Donald Trump thinks about our constitutional rights? Again, I'm not asking your opinion on what you care about. I'm trying to figure out why you know about Missouri v. Biden, but you don't know what your own candidate is running on.
I haven't looked anything into this Agenda 47.
Do you understand why, for me, that's problematic? That you don't know anything about what your candidate's running on, but you're just running interference for him. You're on the internet debating that everything is unfair, and you literally don't even know why you're voting for him.
I agree with his policies.
You don't know his policies.
A great president.
You didn't
I think his foreign policy is amazing.
Wait, Agenda 47 is his policy. You don't know what his policy is. I'm telling you, you are in a cult. I've been in a cult, by the way. I was Mormon. I was raised in a cult. What happens in a cult is you put up the blinders. Okay? And any bad information that comes your way, you just ignore it. And you keep going and digging down the hole you're supposed to. And the hole you're supposed to dig down right now is everything's rigged. And poor Donald Trump, a billionaire. Do you know how fucking easy your life is if you're a billionaire in this country? Just basically don't commit obvious fraud and you're good. You can do so many awful things as a billionaire. That's all he had to do. But you have been convinced that this guy is so great for the country that you don't even bother looking at what he's running on. You're just like, I love him so much, I'll vote for him no matter what. And I'll spend all my time debating issues or debating court cases that you've lost on all of these court cases, by the way. You lost on New York, you lost on Florida, and now we get here an hour later and you don't know what your guy's running on.
Okay, well, here you go. The Supreme Court brief further supplements the court's record with their latest investigative findings.
You
asked me to find the Amazon files, and I found it.
Okay, can you respond to that first and then go to the Amazon files? Can you just respond at all to like why you think you know all this stuff, but you don't seem to care what your guy's running on? Like, how can you support a guy when you don't know what he's running on?
Because I haven't researched Agenda 47.
That's his agenda. It's his. Do you know what an agenda is?
No, I don't.
Yeah, it's on his DonaldJTrump.com/Agenda 47. It's on his website. It's what he's promising to do if he wins. When you run a campaign, you tell the people what you're going to do if you win. Could you, like...
Oh, okay. So ending veteran homelessness in America, no welfare for illegal aliens, the American Academy... Not seeing anything wrong with any of this. President Trump's pledge to homeschool families.
Hold on. You're looking at this for the first time. Let's be clear on that. And you've just named a bunch of things that you're doing. That you're doing the Trump thing that he wants you to do. He wants you to read the highlights of what's on there, and you're just going to say, "Wait, hold on." And you want to just be like, "Oh, that all sounds like good things." What about this? Donald Trump is advocating that he gets to control the FTC, the FCC, and the FEC. Now, the way that works currently is there's like 5 board members, and the president gets to choose 3 of them. And then the opposing side gets to choose 2. So the president will always have an imbalance of 3 to 2, right? And that's the elections, that's trade, and that's communications. He says that what he is going to do, according to Agenda 47, is that he is going to require that if any of those departments are to be investigated, they have to approve it. The people in the department, have to approve if the FBI gets to investigate them. And since Trump is openly saying, I'm only going to put in good people who listen to me, who buy into the MAGA agenda, he's going to fill those 3 spots with 3 people who will do whatever he says. So that means the executive branch has full control over elections, full control over trade, and full control over communications, meaning TV, broadcast, news. You think that's a good thing? You think that's constitutional that our executive branch have full control over those 3?
I do not think that the executive branch should have full control, but I also understand that
But he does.
Okay, well, which bullet point would that be under?
Fun story. So if you go to his videos, it used to be on the 3rd page. If you go to the Wayback Machine, you'll find this. He started getting heat and he hit it. So now it's not live anymore. But if you use the Wayback Machine, you can find it. You can also find this plan in Project 2025, where it lays out exactly how to do this. But because Trump got heat for it, he removed it from his website.
So maybe he pivoted and said, well, maybe this isn't a good idea, and he might not be pushing that again.
Except he didn't say that. So if you want to believe that, fine. But why wouldn't he come out and say that?
Well,
you don't think Donald Trump wants full control over elections and trade and the FCC?
I definitely don't. I really don't think that.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Who are you listening to?
I really don't think that.
Okay, well, when he says he wants to be able to sue CNN and open up libel laws, where do you think that's coming from? Where do you think he's going to get the authority to do that?
Well, do you feel like
where do you think he'll get the authority? No, where do you think he will get the authority to do that?
Well, I think that things need to be changed. I feel like our media at this point is not
going to change those. Who's responsible? The FCC, right? So you think it's a good idea to give the president control of the press?
I think they already have control of the press. I think
the president has control of the press. The president? No. The president, Not the 3-letter agencies, the president. By the way, that's a dumb fucking thing to say, that they have control over those.
I just had the Amazon files pulled up and you made me go off of them, where literally they're telling Amazon.
I'm saying the president. You think the president should be able to just control the news organizations? That's what you're arguing for.
No, because that would be like
then why? Then again,
China.
Then again, yeah, exactly. And when Donald Trump says he wants to open up libel laws, what does that mean?
Well, I would think that would mean that they wouldn't be able to do all the bullshit that they're doing.
Like what? Like what?
Well, like running stories, and like you said, why have we never heard about the Amazon? Why have we never heard about this case over First Amendment rights and how
so
these
you
social
think
media
the president should be
so
you think the president should be dictating what's true and what's not true?
I definitely don't.
Okay, well then you have to oppose Donald Trump when he says that he wants to do this, because that gives him full control.
I've literally never heard him say this. I've literally never heard him say this. And like you just said, I just went to his website and looked up the Agenda 47 and went through all of the bullet points, and not a single one mentioned anything about that.
Well, you just read, first of all, you read the bullet points, and some of the bullet points we could cover another time are shockingly bad. Including the academy thing. It's disgusting.
You guys quit saying I'm Q. I swear to God, I've literally never read anything about QAnon.
Listen, let me help you explain QAnon. You can be Q and not know anything about QAnon. Just so you know. The QAnon conspiracy theories got so widespread and so injected into mainstream Republicanism that what you think is just mainstream Republicanism is actually like QAnon conspiracy theories. That's where they originated.
So you're telling me that I've been wasting my time reading court cases and court documents and fulfilled FOIA requests and researching things, and now I'm QAnon because that's what I've done.
Yes. You have read all the things that don't matter, and you have ignored all the things that do. The only research you're doing is research that tries to prove there's a deep state and that Donald Trump is great. You don't do any research into what Donald Trump is doing. Like, do you know why we have problems at the border?
I 100% know why we have problems at the border, because whenever Biden first took office, he literally signed several executive orders about the border to overturn Trump's policies.
What policies?
Okay, well, do you want me to pull those back up too?
No, I do you not know any off the top of your head?
I told you I am so tired that the words on the screen are blurry.
Let me tell you a story you may not know. It's in 2019. There's not very reported in America, but reported around the world, and especially in Venezuela, a boat was captured off the shores of Venezuela. And on that boat were some, let's call them pirates, and some former special forces from the United States, contractors. They were there as a coup. They were trying to stage a coup to remove the leader of Venezuela. That coup obviously was busted up, and Donald Trump, who was a loud opponent of the current leader in Venezuela, was pretty upset that leader of Venezuela was still going to lead Venezuela. So Donald Trump said to Venezuela, "We are no longer buying your oil anymore." And we bought 50% of their oil. Now, keep in mind, Donald Trump chose to do this because he wanted our oil companies to go down to Venezuela and drill oil. He wanted access to that. And probably to do a favor for his donor buddies. They said, no, he decides we're not buying your oil anymore. 50% of their economy is wiped out overnight. In 2019, we see an increase of 500% of immigration. Immigration had been flat for like 14 years. All of a sudden it goes up in 2019, 500% under Donald Trump. You remember he was somehow he was campaigning on, we got to do something about the border while he was the president, which makes no sense, especially considering now he's saying the president has all the authority they need. We don't need new laws. Anyways, then you have COVID. They shut down the border from Title 42 using an executive order from a health crisis. As soon as it opens up, as soon as the health crisis is over and our border opens again, we go right back to that same exact trajectory that we were going on. Did you know any of that?
Yeah, I got the whole list pulled up of all of the executive orders Biden signed.
Did you know anything that I just said? Did you know that we tried to stage a coup to get rid of the leader, and then when we didn't get the leader, we destabilized their country, and that most of the people early on that were coming to the border were from Venezuela, a country that we had just completely decimated? Because Donald Trump wanted our private oil companies to go down to Venezuela and drill their oil? Did you know that?
And
you knew that. And you're in favor of that.
And did you realize that we've been tracking migration patterns?
Are you in favor of that? Are you in favor? Are you in favor of that?
Based on Facebook.
Are you in favor of that? Are you in favor of Donald Trump because he didn't like who the leader was, canceling our deal to buy 50% of their oil, thus decimating their economy? Are you a fan of that move?
Well, I would have to know more about the reasons behind it.
What would you need to know?
Because I'm not just going to take your word that it's because he didn't like the guy.
What would you need to know?
Well, I would need to know everything. I would need to know everything about it. Like, I read all the bills. I've read the new border bill that was just released. I read documents. I need to know all of the information before I form an opinion on something.
Well, okay. So if you've read that new border bill, you recognize that the new border bill is far more strict and includes far more resources for the border than anything Donald Trump did.
I'm not talking about HR 815. I'm talking about the one the House just introduced. I read HR 815 as well.
The House, you mean the one the Senate just sent to the House, or are you talking about HR 2?
I'm talking about the one that the House made in response to that one, which is 7372.
You didn't read did you read the Senate bill?
Yeah, I did, which is HR 815, which is also tied to
I'm asking about that. Yeah, so that one you recognize. I read the whole
300 and however many pages.
Okay, so that one you recognize is stronger border policy than anything Donald Trump ever had implemented.
No, that's not true, because there's even a place in there where it lowers the bar for asylum seeking from significant threat of words I can't say on TikTok in the country they're coming from to reasonable threat. So it actually opens it up more, and it's an average.
Opens what up more? Wait, opens what up more?
It makes it easier to seek asylum because it lowers the bar from a significant threat of the T word in the country where you came from, or harm, or whatever words you can't say on TikTok.
Okay, so
for seeking asylum to a reasonable threat.
So you don't think people that have a reasonable threat of asylum should be allowed here?
Well, I think what do you consider reasonable?
Well, that's who decides that.
Exactly.
No, not exactly. Who decides it?
Well, that's exactly the point.
No, there's an answer to this. There's an answer to this.
Well, it would be the courts. But
exactly.
It would be the courts. But whenever you step foot,
that's how our system works.
Understanding that whenever you step foot on soil and say, I'm seeking asylum, I have a significant threat of whatever, then you're given your court date however many years out, and then you have to wait to go to court.
Yeah, so that's why we wanted more judges. That's why we wanted more funding.
So you're going to lower the bar from significant to reasonable to allow more people to come in?
Yeah, anybody that's coming to our country, escaping what were the two terms? Significant versus what?
I met my match. I actually take that as a compliment because this is the first time I've ever done this against a Democrat. So
I didn't say that.
No, somebody in the comments said she met her match,
sorry.
and I
have a rule here that we don't respond to the comments.
I'm sorry. This is my first time, and so I take that as a compliment because I feel like I'm sort of doing okay considering the hour of the night. And
can we go back? I know, I understand. You're doing great. Can we go back to that? Yeah, I think that it's okay if a person comes to our country and there's a reasonable chance that they're fleeing persecution. I think that that's okay. I want people here that are fleeing persecution. Pardon me, but like the sign that's written on the Statue of Liberty, I take that seriously. My ancestors all came here looking for a better life. That's how they all came here. And they just showed up. They were over in Europe, and Mormon missionaries showed up and taught them about Mormonism, and they just got on a boat and came to America. They weren't vetted.
Right.
They just showed up, and then they walked into our country, and they walked. So I think we need better vetting than that. But what are you saying, that you don't want asylum seekers unless there's a significant threat?
No.
Okay, so what are you saying?
Well, I do think that.
Okay, so what are you saying?
Well, I do think that there needs to be I do think that you shouldn't just be able to say that I have a reasonable threat. I think there needs to be some like guidelines for what a reasonable threat would be.
That'll go through. So then they'll go to court and the judge will say, like, what's the reasonable threat? And a lot of people, by the way, just based on what country they're coming from, a lot of those people are turned around. Most. I think it's something like 10% of the people at most have their asylum claims approved. I think it's 3%, but I can't remember.
Yeah, it's not very many, but it's so many years down the road. A lot of them you can't even find later.
Yeah, so that's why this border bill gave more resources, so we could have more judges, so we could speed up that process. But Republicans are like, no, we'll just keep everything the same.
It literally is just hitting the fast forward button, but also you can jump the border wherever you want.
Yeah, wait,
you can jump the border onto
why is pressing fast forward a bad thing?
Because it's literally just gonna open the floodgates, and you're handing them all of this money.
It actually puts a limit. No, it puts a limit. It puts a limit for the first time. There's no limit right now. There's no limit.
Yes, that's true, but it also puts that limit at an average of 5,000.
Okay, how many
per day over a 7-day period?
How many did we average last month? How many did we average a day last month?
I haven't looked at the numbers from last month.
8,000. So
what was going on last month?
Do you think 3,000 less per day is an improvement?
Well, yeah.
Okay. But so then why do you oppose the bill? You'd rather have 8,000 than 5,000? I oppose the bill because of all the things
that it's tied to.
Okay. So because it's tied to other things, you'd rather just do nothing about the border, is what you're saying?
Well, the one thing that pisses me off the most is that all of this stuff is tied to veterans.
I don't care. What I'm saying is because it's tied to other things, then you don't want better. You'd rather stick with the status quo that sucks because you don't like the bill in its entirety.
I think the bill sucks. I think the new bill that was introduced by the House is a lot better.
I think that you were told that it sucks, and whether
I read the entire thing, just like you can jump the border and you have to present yourself within so many days.
Hold on, my friend.
As long as you're within 100 miles of the border.
Okay, listen, you got to let me finish sentences, okay? I think that you were predetermined that you were going to say it sucks. And I don't care if you think the House bill is better. That's a fair thing to say. But guess what? The House bill can't pass. The Senate bill can pass. The House bill cannot. So you are choosing to support a bill that won't pass. And you got, like, it's the Republicans now. I'm just telling you, like...
Okay, well, if that's the case, then why was the border bill... Why was H.R. 2 passed in May of 2023 and sent to the Senate and then just sat on the desk in the Senate?
Because even the Republicans in the Senate didn't want it.
Okay, so...
And then what happened? The House Republicans said, wait, hold on. Then House Republicans said, the Senate and Democrats came to the House Republicans and said, we got to do funding for Ukraine. And they're like, okay, cool. We'll do Ukraine if we tie it to a border bill. And the Democrats are like, fine. And they said, all right, we'll give Kirsten Sinema, James Langford, and I can't remember the other guy, and they're going to negotiate. We're going to have somebody in the middle, on the right, and on the left, and they're going to negotiate a bill together so that we can tie Ukraine aid to this border bill. And everybody's like, cool, do it. And then they did it. And then right before Donald Trump came out and he said, you know what, guys? I don't want you doing anything until the election because if this works, it's going to make Joe Biden look good, and we don't want to give him a win. And there are people on the record in the House saying we're not going to give Joe Biden a win. You guys are a cult. The only reason that we're not doing anything about the border is because Donald Trump doesn't want us to do anything about the border, and you guys do everything he says, and then you defend everything he says. But the truth is, he needs the border crisis to keep going for his election to look better. It's always Trump over country, Trump over party. He doesn't give a shit about you or our country, and you guys need to wise up. There are candidates who I disagree with vehemently in your party who care about our country, and I don't like their ideas, but at least I know that they're not going to set aside our border and the safety of our nation so that they can win an election.
Okay, well, I would disagree with you because I look at everything objectively, and like you said, I don't read the news. I don't read those things. I read the bills. I read the court cases.
I didn't say any of that. So when you say you disagree with me, you need to disagree with something I just said.
You told me that I presuppose, and I do what Donald.
I said
Trump
I think that you did that, and then I laid out the whole argument why I think you presuppose it. So address the argument that I made about why I think you presuppose it.
My rebuttal to that would be I don't pay attention to any of the news. I watch Congress.gov.
Okay, but what I said I explained that they ran HR 2. It got stifled. They said, okay, the Democrats said, we want to do Ukraine. The Republicans said, we'll do it if you tie a Ukraine bill to the border bill. They said, great, we'll put a Democrat, an independent, and a Republican together in a room. We'll come up with a bill, and then we can all do this together, Ukraine and the border. And they're like, cool, let's do it. They spend all those times, they negotiate. And then when it comes time to sign it, everybody who said they signed it, suddenly Donald Trump says, don't sign it. And they're like, we're not signing it. It's bad. Why'd they all of a sudden change their mind right after Donald Trump said that?
So who do you think was the one that was on the right?
Why did they all change their mind after Donald Trump said that?
I have no idea because, like I told you, I don't watch the news. I don't know when Donald Trump said anything.
Let's think about it. What are some reasons that they might do that? Why do you think they would all want to fix?
I would hope that it's because they actually read the bill and went through everything and figured out.
It wasn't bad news because most of them,
the amount of money going to the border.
Hold on. If you said hopefully and then that's not the case, then let's stop right there. That wasn't the case. They came out within 15 minutes and said it was terrible. And they said, then many of them said, we don't need to do anything about the border. The president has all the authority he needs. Do you agree with that?
That's true. That's true. Biden should be doing something about the border.
Well, then why did Trump not, if they had all the authority they needed, why did Trump have an increase of 500% and he couldn't do anything about it? Why did the courts shoot down Mayorkas' idea? Now, Mayorkas wanted to get people to be forced to stop in the first country they came to. The first one, not make it all the way to the United States, and the Republicans sued him. Did you know that?
I did not know that. I knew that
Why do you think they did that?
I knew that Trump worked out his trade deal with Mexico
to get nothing to do with this. That
them to stay in Mexico.
That has nothing to do with this. That trade deal has nothing to do with remain in Mexico. Just so you know. But yeah, weird you didn't know that Republicans have been obstructing all along. That's weird. All the Democrats are trying to do is pay Border Patrol, give them more resources, get more judges so we can deal with this problem. And Republicans are like, no, we're not going to do anything.
Well, I don't agree with HR 815.
But why don't Republicans want to do anything?
Probably because it's a shit bill and they've tied it to too much stuff. And
what else could it be? Okay, that's one option. What else could it be?
Well, that's how I feel about it. So
okay, do you want me to hear? Do you know who Chip Roy is?
Yeah. So what? But
what did Chip Roy have to say about it? Do you know what Chip Roy had to say about it?
I have no idea what Chip Roy.
Would you like me to play for you what Chip Roy had to say about it?
You go ahead.
Pull it up here. Boy, Chip Roy talks a lot. All right, here you go.
But what did they declare independence for? What did Travis and the rest of the Alamo sacrifice for? A federal government that opens our borders to cartels? A group of Republicans who campaign on securing the border, who run away in abject surrender, refusing to actually do it? That's the question before us right now. That's the question for every member of the Republican conference. I'm speaking to you. If you do not secure the border now, you are giving up any argument you have for the American people to put their faith in you. Will Republicans honor their campaign commitments to secure the border, yes or no? What I am seeing right now from my Republican colleagues does not give me faith that they will stand up in the breach, as did those men who stood on the wall at the Alamo. I am tired of words. Things are going to change in this body. If my Republican colleagues believe that they're going to be moving through relatively meaningless provisions, doing precious damned little for the very people who sent us here to change things, and they think that some of us are just going to go along for the ride, they are sorely mistaken.
About 6 months later, he was on the floor again, saying, "Give me something I can go back to my constituents. I promised them I'd do something about border security." Then last week, he's saying the same thing. My Republican friends aren't doing anything about border security. He even references in his speech last week, Donald Trump says that the president has all the executive authority that he needs. Well, if that's true, why did Donald Trump allow the border crisis to start in 2019? Like, this isn't even me. This is Chip Roy. This is one of the experts from the Republicans. This is one of the loudest proponents of border security, saying Republicans are standing in the way. And he's pointing the finger directly at Donald Trump. Donald Trump says we have everything we need and Republicans are just listening to him. But he's wrong.
No, I feel like things were, the border was a lot better controlled under Trump. I feel like Biden's first day in office.
No, but you're missing the point. He said, if the president had all the authority, then why did Donald Trump allow 2019 to happen? If he had all the authority to stop it, why didn't he?
Well, I feel like he did a lot to stop it. He did his whole deal with Mexico and trying to keep them in Mexico. He was doing the border wall.
Yeah. What was that based on? Wait,
Biden's first day in office.
Let's do one at a time. One at a time. The Remain in Mexico policy. How did he get that through?
Trump?
Yeah.
By negotiating with Mexico on trade deals?
Wrong. He used his executive authority because of a national emergency, which was COVID. And in national emergencies, the executive branch has special powers. So he was able to close the border because there was a national health emergency. And once that was over, that's Title 42. Once that was over, the emergency was over, the president no longer has that executive authority. So Biden didn't have that.
Okay, well, what about Biden signing the executive order overturning his policies and redirecting funding for the wall?
Which ones caused the problem? Listen, I live in a border state. Trump built less than 20 miles of wall. He didn't build a wall. The wall stayed exactly the same. The people are at our border because they need somewhere to go. And a lot of the reason they're at the border is because specifically like neocons and people who love interfering in other countries, specifically oil people, went and interfered in a bunch of countries. And we fucked up their countries. And so their people are coming here, which is fair because we fucked it up. And Donald Trump is the reason this border crisis started. His actions directly led to this border crisis. I'm tired of people blaming Joe Biden for it. Did you know that Joe Biden deports a higher percentage of people that come across the border than Donald Trump? Of course, a higher number because there's more people. But Donald Trump was under 50%, like 46%. Biden's at 54%. That's better numbers.
I can't even form a coherent thought at this point.
You could. Come back.
It's not anything about not being able to keep up. I was tired and laying in bed when I got on here. I was just laying in bed scrolling TikTok and you popped up and the conversation was taking place about the fraud case. And I was like, a lot of the things that were being discussed weren't accurate. So I thought I would join in on the conversation, and I'm still here forever later, and I am absolutely exhausted.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. That's fair. Come back again. We're live every morning. I truly appreciate the conversation, and I truly appreciate intellectual debate. Agreed.
So I had a really decent time here. I didn't do great. I'm not going to give myself a W because I definitely didn't do great.
Not even a double dub? Not even a double dub? Yeah.
But for my first time, I don't feel like I did too bad holding my own though, right?
Listen, you're probably the smartest MAGA person I've talked to in 6 months, if we're being
okay.
honest.
And somebody
you represented your side well.
Well, and somebody was saying I get all of my information from Mod, and that's not the case at all. I do my own research. I do watch her, but I do my own research. I read all of this stuff. If you could see my computer and the amount of time, I also work in politics locally for my state. I do campaign finance research. I work for a local PAC. Not work. It's all volunteer. But I care about politics and I care about the state of my state and I care about the state of our country. Like, I legitimately care. So it did kind of hurt my feelings a little being accused of being QAnon and all of that stuff, because I legitimately do campaign finance research and I read bills, like not just like,
look, there's smart people there's smart people that are QAnon. It's not meant to just say like everything you say is wrong. I'm just saying that some of the stuff, like in mainstream Republicanism, its origins are actual QAnon stuff. Like, if the origins are from QAnon, I'm just gonna recognize that of where it came from. Like we all have stuff that we spend way too much time on that probably doesn't matter. Like, I spent way too much time learning about Q, and it has done me no good.
I remember
I'm just telling you that a lot of the stuff you say, that's where it starts. And by the time it gets to you, even if it's backed up by data, or even if it's a well-written article by somebody who isn't QAnon, that's all I was trying to say. So I apologize. I didn't mean
that's fine. And I can understand that. I mean, I remember hearing about it, but I never like researched it or looked into it or anything like that. And I'm not like a read an article, news article person and then just like form an immediate opinion. Like, if there's hyperlinks, I'm clicking hyperlinks and reading bills attached or FOIA requests attached and things like that. I find the court cases. I research who's funding the court cases. Like, I have notebooks full of shit. Like, it's not like just a normal, I go on. I just got on political TikTok debates literally like maybe not even 3 weeks ago.
Well, it's going to be crazy on election night when you're on the coverage here with myself, and I usually have a co-host named Felice, and we're all talking about how great it is to be a Democrat. I look forward to this November when all three of us are Democrats.
All three, yeah, that's never gonna happen.
That's the goal. Come back though. Come back anytime.
So you are a Biden supporter. You're not like a independent.
I don't love Biden, but I think he's done a way better job than I ever expected. Like, I think that liberals have historically done themselves a massive disservice by calling every Republican fascist for like 20 years, because like even Donald Trump in 2016, not a fascist. Donald Trump now, what he's running on, it's like actual fascism, and it feels like the boy who cried wolf. And I understand Republicans who for their whole lives have been like, all right, you call us a fascist, everything we do. But like, now we finally have a real one, and it's like pulling teeth trying to get people to realize that, like, I don't know why anybody looks at Donald Trump and thinks that guy, any action he's ever made, he cares about himself. I don't know how people have deluded themselves into believing that Donald Trump gives a flying fuck about this country. He cares only about himself.
I don't know. Do you not think at all that, like, if I put myself in his shoes, and if I was being attacked from like every single angle solely because I was, in the public eye. And
that's the problem. You think it's solely because he's in the public eye. There's been I worked on Mitt Romney's presidential campaign. You know what he was attacked for? For having a dog. Like, when he was younger, he put his dog in a kennel on the roof. And he flip-flopped on abortion, and he was the first governor to do like a Obamacare type policy. He was known as that's what he was criticized for. People tried to dig into his business past with Bain Capital, which is gross. Like, he basically went in and gutted companies, but there was nothing illegal. Like that's the thing that you guys don't get. I worked for Republicans. I've worked for some prominent Republicans. The reason Donald Trump gets attacked is because he's a bad person. He's a bad business person. He's a chronic liar, and he appears to be a criminal. And if you look back, if you want to do some honest history, go back and research all of Donald Trump's court cases long before he was president. And look, every time he lost one, you know what he did? It was rigged. They just don't like me because I'm on TV. They're all jealous of me. He's done this his whole life. This is just who he is.
But if you were him and you had the ability, why would you not just say, fuck this country? And if he's so close to Russia and Putin, just like go to another country. Like he could literally get on a plane and
he wants
just
power.
leave.
Because he wants power. What's more powerful than being the president of the United States?
I don't know. I just don't. If it was me, it wouldn't be worth it.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, for 2 years while he was president, he was still negotiating a deal with the Russian government trying to build a hotel there. He lied to us about that. He said that he had divested all his interests, and he didn't. But, like, I don't know. Maybe he has money problems. There's been a lot of reports that he has liquidity problems. His son-in-law got $2 billion.
I'm sure he's over leveraged.
Yeah, his son-in-law got $2 billion from the Saudis right when he left office. Trump's picked up probably at this point like $20 million in Saudi money just for hosting golf tournaments that don't make any money. I mean, there's a million reasons. I don't know why Trump is how he is, but I could tell you that like 3 civil cases so far, he lost all 3. 2 of them had juries. The indictment in Florida, it's pretty ironclad. The indictment in Georgia, the only people that haven't gone to court yet or that aren't going to court because they pled guilty.
Yeah, and I mean, you could argue innocent people plead guilty all the time.
You could, but like how many more things have to line up to show that Donald Trump's a criminal before you guys will believe it?
I mean, I don't know.
That's all I'd say. Anyways, you're tired. Let's do it again sometime. I really did enjoy it. I need to go to sleep too.
I truly did too.
And tell your husband whether he's S or K. It was nice talking to him as well.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. Bye.
See ya. All right, everybody. That's it for me. I got to be back at it tomorrow morning, bright and early, 8:30 a.m. to noon Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Felice will be there. She will be ready. It will be a glorious morning. Thanks for staying up and indulging me tonight. We finally got some potato farming. I appreciate it. Sorry about the gifts. Just so if you guys do want to donate, I'm still participating in CoinCot. There's the Venmo. There's the Cash App. If you happened to send something tonight and I didn't see it, I'll read it tomorrow on the stream. But of course, we love any sort of donations. Those are split between Felice and myself. So I will see all of you hopefully in the morning, bright and early. We'll see you then.